Howdy world, and welcome to the first ever CineMafia year in review.
Hey.
We are the CineMafia, not a CineMafia, the CineMafia. We'll explain why. Like, guys, introduce yourselves. Tell us who you are, and tell us how many movies did you see this year?
I'm Bobby, and I saw 38 movies in theaters this year.
Not bad, not bad.
I'm Josh. I saw 48 movies.
Very good.
I'm Brandon. I also saw 38 movies in the theater this year.
Very cool. And I'm TJ, and I'm the dawn of this joint. And the reason why is I saw 77 movies this year.
Man, that's a lot.
Wow.
Saw a lot of movies.
That's a lot of movies.
Love a lot of movies. You ever been to my house? You know I got a lot of movies on my wall. That's why we do what we do. We love movies. We love stories. We love hanging out. We're actually all really great friends. We go to church together. We hang out together. We have a pretty fiery texting chain on the regular. It's a good time. So what's the CineMafia? It actually started with me and this guy here 8 years ago when AMC dropped their wonderful A-list concept. He and I started going to see movies basically every single Thursday night.
Yep.
And we still to this day are doing that. We've added some friends along the way. It's been a great time. And this year we thought, man, the world needs to know, what do we think? Because I think we think some pretty good things, right?
I think we have valid opinions.
No doubt, no doubt. So we want to share our thoughts with you. Hopefully you enjoy it. Feel free to argue with us in the comments. We would love your thoughts. Actually, listen to the whole thing. Bobby's going to talk about that later on. But guys, this is talk. We're going to go through our honorable mentions. We're going to offer you our top fives and our bottom fives. We're going to start with our honorable mentions, though, fellas. So going all the way back to January, what's something you saw in January? You thought, okay, that was pretty good.
I mean, I think to start off, I think Beekeeper was a solid movie.
No,
It wasn't awesome. It wasn't bad. It was good. I mean, I'm a big Jason Statham fan, right? I mean, you can't beat Jason Statham.
It's typical Jason Statham. Like, it hit.
He's like one level below Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
You know?
our generation's Chuck Norris. That's a good
right.
thought.
I think you just put Jason Statham into an AI machine and just change the topic, and then that's a new Jason Statham movie.
Yeah,
and that's what this one was.
Yeah.
That's a funny thought. Yes. It's almost the equivalent like those goofy Christmas movies. It's just Jason Statham. Here we go.
That's
right?
literally the
Yeah.
equivalent.
He's
He's his own Hallmark channel.
Yeah. Somebody's Tubi TV. Let's make that happen.
The transporter meets identity theft.
There you go.
Meets John Wick.
Yeah. But, you know, he cares about beef.
Yeah.
That's right. He does.
He does care, but that's actually probably the funny part is like this hardcore beat everybody to a pulp, but genuinely loves bees. Like just soft-hearted towards the weirdest critter. For sure. What else? Anybody else see anything else in January you liked?
Boys in the Boat was great.
Boys in the Boat was very cool. I agree.
That was a good movie that we saw. You know, it just hit all of the sport feeling moments of where it's like, oh man, obviously, they're struggling, they're gonna figure it out, and then oh man, wow, they're awesome, they did the thing.
Yeah.
And so with that,
What
those
thing?
are always.
What thing did they do?
I don't want to give away movies. If people haven't seen the
Did it
movie.
involve a boat?
It's a year old. I think we're good on spoilers.
Okay,
FYI, there are
spoilers.
going to be some spoilers in this review, y'all.
I was
Okay?
not prepared to bring in spoilers.
We
They
can spoil
win.
it.
Whoop-de-doo. So, the whole point
In a
of the
boat.
movie, in a boat.
In a boat.
And they do really good rowing the boat, and they win. And it's awesome. And it's the story of how to get there, and it was a good movie.
Specifically, it's the University of Washington. You're going to kick out of this because you're a football guy.
Oh, yeah.
The University of Washington just lost the national championship the same week this came out. And so it was kind of like a nice little, like they couldn't have timed that out better. Like everyone was like, hey, come on, University of Washington. They get slaughtered in the national championship.
boy.
Then this movie comes out about the UW winning an Olympic gold medal. I'm like, oh, okay, hey, see that worked? It was 100 years ago, but still, y'all are okay.
Yeah.
Right? So that was good. All right, we see anything in February we liked? I know we saw something in February we hated. We'll get to that later on.
I would not describe February as a month where I liked any movie.
It's not,
Oh, wait a minute.
typically,
people.
it's not a
The
solid
end of
movie month.
February.
End of February, bring it up, Bobby.
February's
What do you
good.
got?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's going to be mentioned later, but the end of February is
Tell,
great. We
tell us
had
what you
Dune
got.
in the end of February.
Dune's in there. Yeah,
Well, I didn't see that till March, so
fair enough.
Oh,
That's fair enough.
wow,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Sorry.
It was at the very end.
It
Of
was,
Release date.
Yeah.
Sorry.
it was actually the very last day
It
of
is the
February,
last
no
day.
less. Yeah. So
But
Dune
besides
pops
that,
out.
February may have been the worst movie month.
It was a pretty lousy movie month, no doubt. No doubt.
Yeah.
Ordinary Angels was okay. I don't know if you saw that
I
or
didn't see
not.
that one.
Didn't
That
know.
was kind of
that,
interesting for what it was. Entertaining enough, right?
Yeah.
Based on a true story, that's always helpful.
Okay.
All right. Anything else in February? No. Want to jump to March?
Let's do March. March has some good ones.
yeah.
I mean, Kung Fu Panda 4. It did creep into my bottom 5, but it was just because I hadn't seen a ton of movies this year.
Oh,
to
yeah,
compare.
yeah.
So, and once you got past the second Kung Fu Panda, did you have to make another one?
What else?
And then
is
did
there
you have to make a fourth one?
Yes,
Like,
because you have to fund Jack Black's career.
That's
That's,
true.
what you have to do. What are you talking about?
Jack Black doesn't need Kung Fu Panda. He's funny on his own.
I think he needs.
I've got a long list this year of movies that came out that like they didn't need to make, right?
Sure.
This is definitely the first one on that list.
Okay.
Mostly because, and maybe I'm alone in this, but it proved to me that not only did you not need to make a Kung Fu Panda 4, but you put Aquafina in it.
Right.
Come
gosh.
on. Like,
She never needs to be in another movie again.
thank you.
Yeah,
And so
ever.
when I-
oh my word.
when I hear her voice in a movie,
Yeah.
especially because they're all animated, like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Y'all didn't need to do this.
Yeah.
This was a money grab. You want me to bring my kids to see this movie, and you know what? I didn't. I
Okay.
saw this. With
Okay,
you
so hang on.
guys.
If we're going to go to Aquafina, has there been any movie that she's been good in? I will tell you, the one that
I like Shang-Chi.
Okay, that was the one movie that I
But
think
not-
that I
not 'cause
didn't
of her.
hate her.
No,
Yeah.
no, no.
I mean, she tried to play Scuttle in Little Mermaid, and while
Oh,
the song
gosh.
is funny,
The song is very funny.
it just wasn't Scuttle.
Yeah. Good
So-
news. My daughter is in Scuttle and Little Mermaid in May. She will redeem that part.
Thank
for
you.
us. It's going to
Thank
be
you.
wonderful.
Okay.
That is
Excited
true,
about
that's
that.
true,
Yeah.
true.
That's
So
good.
Kung Fu Panda, Aquafina. I also put Tiffany Haddish in that category too. So
Yeah.
can't stand her. Can't stand her.
I had one of my movies that I'm thinking of, but it was in my bottom 5, so we'll get to it later.
All right. Cool. Very good. Anything else in March?
Godzilla vs. Kong, New Empire came out in March.
Yeah.
Anybody who's a big, giant monster loving fight battle people
Yep.
will enjoy that movie.
Yeah.
Your son did.
That was the first
Thoroughly.
time that my boy got to come with us. That was
right.
he still
That's
talks
true.
about that night. Yeah.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, we allow some of our younglings join the
outsiders.
crew, some outsiders, as trial basis kind
Kids
of
kind
deal.
of automatically get in on those little
Yeah,
one-offs.
no doubt. So yeah, Godzilla is his favorite thing on planet Earth, and it was maybe more fun watching him watch Godzilla than watching Godzilla.
I
but it was
thoroughly enjoyed it.
Still a good time. Yeah, that boy was floating when he walked out of the theater. Yeah, turn your brain off. Monkey hits lizard.
Yep.
What's not like to?
That's valid.
Yeah, pretty great.
I mean,
Roadhouse?
Ghostbusters, Frozen Empire was there too in March.
In March, okay.
So, I mean, again, nostalgia, right? It wasn't a great movie.
Not definitely not as good as the first.
Correct.
Yeah.
That was number 2 on my list of movies that like, we didn't need that.
We didn't need it.
Sure.
We did.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, but
there were some agendas pushed in that movie that kind of were
Hurt.
weird and not necessary. And
Bill Murray.
Bill Murray,
Bill Murray.
Yeah.
I just have to say, but
that,
Bill
that
Murray.
was great. I'll give you that. But I mean, the ghosts in the movie. I mean, I feel like they pulled that from any other random horror movie.
Yeah.
It
Sure.
just didn't fit any of the other monsters that have ever been in Ghostbusters.
It was a little uber powerful. A little
Yes.
too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's good.
Roadhouse was an interesting movie.
I didn't see Roadhouse. Okay.
Roadhouse, it's on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Amazon Prime.
I saw
Amazon
it.
Prime.
I saw it at home. I didn't see it in the theater.
Yeah, I saw it at home.
Solid. Now,
It's a solid movie. It's very interesting. I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal. I feel like
It's handsome.
Yes.
handsome
I feel
man.
like he's been on a really good uptrend of movies.
Married.
And so with that, it was just a really good movie. He was, his normal good acting.
there was
pieces in it.
some good fight scenes in it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that was
between him
really
and Connor at
interesting.
the end was a solid fight scene. So
It was very
if
interesting
you
the
want-
world that he was in.
yeah.
Like the character development of all. It was just a
Yes.
different kind of movie for one of those weird like I'm a bouncer kind of thing. I don't even know how to describe the genre.
If you went to that movie expecting it like to be a solid remake, no, it wasn't.
it wasn't.
It was a
Yes,
completely different.
correct.
Yeah, don't
So they
go
went a
into
different
it
direction.
thinking that-
Remake.
A different direction.
Right.
It didn't feel like the original Roadhouse,
Yeah,
and I'm okay with that.
Yeah, don't go into it thinking that Patrick Swayze. This is like because
Yeah.
Jake Gyllenhaal is no Patrick Swayze.
No.
Okay,
Correct.
However, it was a good movie if you think of it as a different location, different cast.
Yes.
completely different.
Was Sam
modern.
Elliott in this one? Sam Elliott, he was the guy who trained Patrick Swayze.
Right?
In the original
No,
Roadhouse.
Sam Elliott wasn't in it.
No.
No.
So you want to talk about a guy who's not aged a day in Hollywood?
Right.
Exact same looking dude.
40 years. He looks the exact same.
It's
Got to
pretty-
be the mustache.
something.
I mean,
Yeah, something.
he just doesn't age.
All right, let's jump to April. What do we got in April?
Oh,
What is April?
Civil War.
Civil War. Let's talk about Civil War because that was the interesting one.
Civil War. I walked out of there dang near in tears because it's a movie. It was kind of like the Passion of the Christ for me, right? So I've seen Passion of the Christ one time.
Yeah,
And that was enough for me because it was just so, it hit so close to home, right?
Sure.
As a believer watching Jesus walk through that.
right.
It's same thing with Civil War. I mean, it's basically America at war with itself. And the way that humanity tears other humans apart, invisibly right in front of you, it broke me down a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
I had to.
It was absolutely a hard movie to sit there and watch. Most nights, if you've seen us walk out of the theater, we're typically in a parking lot having this same type of conversation, right? I remember I had just started seeing movies with you guys at that point, and that was the first time where we were just kind of like, bye, have a good night. We got in our car and went home.
It was pretty quiet.
Yeah, we really didn't we didn't have a conversation about it until the next day through text. And I don't think I've ever had a movie hit me like that. So
It's one of those. It was well shot.
Yes.
Right.
yes.
Pretty interesting acting. They still didn't explain how in the world that Texas and California became allies versus.
The most unbelievable part of that movie.
Yeah,
It might be the most unbelievable thing in movies we saw all year long, which is saying something. But it was.
Sci-fi movies we've seen
Yeah.
have been more
A bit
realistic.
more realistic.
Yeah, there was, I don't know, a little bit of an agenda there. I think probably what was happening in our world politically also made it feel so heavy too.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, fascinating movie. But I think that's one of the ones that we said like that one time was enough.
Yep.
Like I'm not streaming that one. All right. Keep rolling through April. I don't know
There's
There's
one we'll come
another
back
one.
to in our top 5.
which one you talking
The
about.
Ministry of
Ministry,
Unbelief.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, Unsung Hero was the awesome one. I can't remember if that's anybody's top 5 or not.
No.
So Unsung Hero, I loved. It's the story predominantly revolves around Rebecca St. James,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
really
the
focuses more on For King and Country.
Yeah.
Which, if you love their music, you'll love that movie because you get to see them sing and hear some of that stuff. But also, it's just an incredible story about how God literally brought them to our country, set their family up in a unique way, and they not only got to do some cool ministry here, but also obviously abroad, and how the Lord kind of broke Dad specifically. You don't catch this in the trailer, but it focuses on Rebecca St. James, who I think all of us had a crush on as a little boy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like just
love Rex.
yeah,
Yep.
she was pretty cool. But really, how the Lord did an incredible work in her dad. So that's worth your time. You hadn't seen that one. Really, really enjoyed it. And again, the music's great. And then for King and Country Now and Rebecca St. James always win. All right, jumping to May. What do we got?
I feel like, guys, and you correct me if I'm wrong, May felt like the biggest mediocre month ever. Like, there was just a lot of movies that could have slapped, right? But it didn't. I mean, we had If. If was it was a heartfelt movie.
Yep.
If you want a hug,
It's Ryan Reynolds. If you want a hug.
you want a hug movie.
That's what I'm a fan of Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
But in that role,
He
I
was
was-
not Ryan Reynolds.
it was
Yeah.
he did good, but it just, to me, that made I was disconnected from getting attached to that movie because it was Ryan Reynolds.
I will say probably the most quotable thing from that movie, which I still do, and no one else has seen it, is when I trip over my feet, I say, Steve! But no one else gets it because no one else has seen it.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. If was fun enough. I like your comment about May being kind of a letdown. We're so used to May
Being the launch.
being
the
just
big
summer
one,
is
yeah.
finally here.
Yep.
Specifically up until this year, Marvel's leading the way
That's it.
for us.
Yeah.
And that didn't happen this year.
Yeah.
So May did feel kind of lame for sure. Yeah, the Fall Guy came in. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Probably
much
should
CGI.
have been awesome, but it just wasn't.
Too much.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of done with that story too.
Yes.
Like I just don't.
Yeah.
I
Like,
don't know
just
where
let
we
it
go
die
from here.
already.
Right, for sure. It's been cool up until this point, but just didn't hit.
When
Same
Caesar
thing with-
died, it got lame.
Yeah,
When Caesar died, it got
absolutely. That's okay, and pinpointed that spot.
Well, and even the way that it ended, it left room for another, and that didn't excite me. It was really
please stop. Please
for
stop.
all things.
Yeah, we're
Same
done.
thing with Furiosa, Mad Max stuff. It's just
Oh, yeah.
it just
Right.
maybe
Right.
gets a passing grade.
But did we need that backstory?
Exactly. That's
No,
right.
Again,
absolutely not.
Well,
they're
particularly-
making movies that we really didn't need to have. Like
That's
we
one
didn't
of
need
those-
the backstory with her.
Yeah.
Like Mad Max himself, Mel Gibson's still alive. Why? Like, if anything, let him keep playing that role. But they just keep moving backwards
Yep.
instead.
I think he
Come
keeps
on.
shooting himself in the foot.
That doesn't help for
Yeah.
sure.
Fall Guy was in May.
Fuck.
Fall Guy was okay.
Yeah,
I'm getting
Fall
it.
Guy
The action was
fine.
good.
Action
you
was
know,
good.
yeah.
Emily Blunt was funny.
Yeah.
I appreciated her character.
I heard someone earlier today actually say that it's a great date movie.
Sure.
It's like, hey, you sit down,
it's
you and your
fine.
wife on the couch, watch a movie. It's a perfect date movie.
Yes.
Also, never going to see it again.
Nope.
Saw it once.
Saw
I
it
saw
once.
it twice.
I-
I saw it with us, and then I saw it with me and Bex, and Bex loved it.
Yeah.
She enjoyed it,
Sure.
and so did the job. It was a perfect date movie.
Yeah.
And I think Garfield is the last one that I wrote down for May.
There you go.
Garfield surprised me.
Oh,
So-
it's
Well, think about all other in the context of Garfield movies. That one
the grand,
was
the grand
best.
spectrum that is Garfield.
It was not better than anything else, but it was better than the other Garfield movies that I've seen.
Here's the bar.
I
Step over.
disagree. I disagree.
Lay it on us. This is what we want right here. This is what the people
We'll get
came to
into it.
see.
It's in my bottom five.
All right,
We'll
all right,
get
here we go.
into
What's
it.
your bottom five?
It's in my bottom
There
five.
we go. Awesome.
Reconnected with his dad.
I'm about to say,
That's
that's
great.
the
Again,
only-
another story
hang on.
we
Oh,
didn't need.
that's why I liked it because
It's good.
okay.
Josh may get a hug before this is
I was
over.
about to say, we did.
Next movie.
We're watching it. We're watching it. We're getting
All
hugs.
right, June.
That
What do we
just
got
hit
in
me
June?
like Civil War.
Oh my gosh.
June picks up a little bit, but this one, Inside Out, popped out. All right.
Oh,
Bad
man.
Boys.
Okay, Inside Out.
Yeah.
Hold up.
Listen,
Watch yourself.
but I mean, I hear you,
This is great.
but it never just went there, right? I mean, the first one
Wait, where?
exactly.
She hit puberty.
I understand.
That's
that.
far enough for me. My daughter's about to be 10.
I've got one in the middle of it.
It was better than I liked as a sequel. I preferred Inside Out 2 to Inside Out 1.
I don't
Wow.
think that's even close.
So,
TJ's more on your team than that.
well, see, that's I was kicking this around earlier, like because I live in that world with teenagers all the time, and I watch, and including
It's a valid
also one of mine now
Valid
too.
point.
I watch my kids go through that. It's one of those, and then working with Dr. Lamance.
Yeah.
Dr. Lamance is a huge advocate of Inside Out 1.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
he is.
Like high praise, right?
I haven't heard him be an advocate of Inside Out too.
I haven't asked him. That'd be worth. Maybe he's our next time we do this, he's our special guest.
Yeah.
All right, Doc, give it
There
to us
you
from a
go.
psychological
Break this down.
perspective.
We need a guest host for him to do a movie
Yeah,
screening of
good.
Inside Out
Maybe
2.
call him in. We'll see.
He would listen. He can come be part of the CineMafia if he
100%.
wants.
Yeah,
That being
that's definitely a
said,
hedge process.
watching my students go through that process and seeing that up and down
yeah.
that presented, specifically the anxiety
sure.
aspect of it. So that one hit me different than it did other ones. Josh is bracing for that. Brandon and I are living in that. Maybe that's what it is. Like the part of you's PTSD. Like I don't want to see that on
Right,
screen.
right.
Like, that's my life every
got
day, right? I'm enough. But it was maybe not. I'm not ready to say it's better than the first one. But I'm definitely not ready to say I hate it either. It is interesting that
And again, I don't.
Yeah.
I'll watch it again. With my littles, I'm gonna watch it
Yeah.
100
We
times
just
over.
watched it a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Think about this. It is now the highest grossing movie of the year
Isn't that wild?
by a mile.
That's
yeah.
wild.
I mean,
And if I remember right, the highest grossing animated movie
Can I,
ever
can,
too.
I just,
So, like,
can I just pause the
chord.
walkthrough real quick? And let's just say, Hollywood, please do us a favor. Notice where all the money goes. It doesn't go to the R-rated artisan movies that somebody gets an idea and they're like, oh, I want to make a movie about something dumb.
Yep.
Go to where the money is, right? The PG, the ones that everyone can see, right? You can be creative
Yep.
and not have to use all the swear words, all the nudity, all the gore. I mean, you can show violent acts that aren't gory. Please make things that our kids can see and enjoy. Don't make the crap that's been coming out the past few years. That's my rant.
And with that, now we're going to talk about Wolverine and Deadpool.
Great caveat.
No, we're coming there.
That
Almost.
was not for the kids,
Almost there.
but I'm all for
We're going
it.
to get there. The other one in June, I think we're going to talk about a little bit. Quiet Place, day one.
Yeah.
That'll come up a little bit later on.
Yeah.
The last one I saw in June was Horizon, which I was excited about. I love Kevin
It's
Costner.
getting destroyed though.
Oh, it's terrible. That's where I was going with it. Like it's
yeah.
So I was excited about Horizon. It's 3 hours long. So I think it was the longest movie I saw all year.
3 hours.
And I didn't know going in, like it's a 4-part series. Like he has a whole, like really probably should have made it a TV show instead of a movie. Beautifully shot, well acted. The storytelling is terrible. And the whole time I'm watching the movie, I'm like, I don't understand because we're cutting scene and going to these different characters and none of it's converging at all. The last 2 minutes of the movie turns into a trailer for the second part, but they don't tell you that's what's going on.
Really?
Yeah, so you're watching this go, wait, when did this happen? Like, what is going on here? And then it was like Horizon Part 2, June 2025. And like, you walk out like throwing popcorn. You're so mad.
Okay,
just-
you're reminding me of why I didn't go back and rewatch this movie.
Yeah,
That's exactly why.
Like there were some cool parts I was excited about, and then they just blew it.
Wrecked it.
Blew it for me, which was sad.
So The Exorcism, I enjoy good horror movies.
Okay,
Right?
there you go.
I've lived in the spiritual darkness. I understand it, and I think it's funny to me trying to watch Hollywood navigate that, right?
Yeah.
Because they hit certain points, but it's laughable most of the time. Russell Crowe did a really good job in his role in this, and it made Exorcism as a decent horror movie.
Yep.
Decent. I
There you
love
go.
it.
Awesome. All right, jumping to July. I have like a 3-week gap there, and that may have been because I was out of the country or something. I don't know, but was there just nothing in that part of July?
Despicable Me 4, I think, is the only
Okay.
one that was
I
there.
didn't actually
you
see
were out
that
of the
one.
country,
Yeah.
and then we had camps and stuff too.
Okay,
and
that would do it too. Yeah. Although I'm hoping we get a post-camp movie story in a little while.
Yeah, we will.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
it'll definitely come.
Yeah, there's some laughter to be had. Some of the setup on how we got to these movies is
After
great.
tears.
So the first thing I saw in July was Twisters.
Oh, okay.
Which those of you who live in the state of Oklahoma, I didn't know that there's an F5 every day of the week. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
But, like this, yeah. According to this movie, there's an F5 every day.
Yeah.
Like the state of Oklahoma should be leveled at this point.
Saying-
They rebuild quick and people keep coming and so that part of the movie is kind of like, come on.
Funny how that never hits the Windstar.
Yeah. Never once hit the Windstar. No casinos were damaged. There was a theater that was damaged, which was sorry to see.
Is YouTube going to shut me
In fact,
down?
technically,
No, I don't think so.
technically a theater is the one that saved the day. No Helen Hunt, which was a miss.
Yeah.
Major miss. I don't know what we're doing. Couple of callbacks. Glenn Powell. I think he'd probably be a lot of fun to hang out with.
Sure.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, so
Fellow Texan trying
Yeah.
to bring Texas
we
movies
go.
back.
yeah. So
Yeah, they brought the old machine in for a bit. And,
they did bring the old machine. Yeah.
You know, they brought a red truck. You know, I mean,
Yep.
to me, that was the callback. That was
It was
really
Dorothy.
Like,
They brought Dorothy.
Dorothy was in there. Yeah, I think it was Dorothy 4.
Dorothy 4.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
So anyway, it's definitely a big screen movie.
yeah.
But I don't know that I'll ever watch that one again.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Apple had a movie that was a good one, Fly Me to the Moon, if you're a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, okay.
yes,
Okay.
that one is kind of fun.
I mean-
for sure, and decent cast.
Some people that know me may know or not know that may be somewhat accurate of what they
Okay.
were trying to describe.
Okay.
It's a cool movie, and it's cool that they're open to doing that now, which just proves that it probably didn't happen. So, but anyway, it was a good movie.
Say the thing no one's willing to say.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
It's good.
And so, every once in a while they slow roll it and then they drop something that's like, oh, okay, we're openly talking about this now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the first step, I think, in regards to that. So,
Okay.
but it was a really good movie. I think it was shot well. Apple is one thing I love about Apple movies and TV shows is they are completely unique. They are not
I
going
agree.
out and they are making dumb sequels.
Mm-hmm.
They are coming up with new original plots, or they're buying new plots from other people and all this. I commend that
yeah.
1,000,000%.
I wasn't thinking about streaming movies, but I'm pretty sure the Tetris movie came out this year. Apple did that. It was incredibly cool.
Was it this year? It was a
I can't remember,
fantastic movie.
Really, really cool.
I just
And
don't
then
know if it was this year.
the Beanie Baby movie that they
That
made.
was also this year.
Just really unique, kind of like, okay. But yeah, just Apple's just cranking them straight up to you. And they're not B movies by any stretch. They're well done.
Yeah.
I
When
mean,
you
they're
have-
partnering with big studios.
They
Like,
got the money.
yeah, like Fly Me to the Moon was
Yeah.
Columbia. Like, they're partnering with the big studios. It's just, I'm a big fan of them not just buying dumb sequels of stuff. Like, it's a unique idea and plot. Whether it hits or not, they're trying.
Right.
And I appreciate
Right.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, it's time. It's time with like
it. Okay.
Deadpool and Wolverine for real this time. So this is the one that we kind of said, but we feel like we can't really say. This is our favorite movie of the year.
It is.
And I'll just, it's just like we all had our top fives and our bottom fives, and then our additional, like, for instance, the way I put it was, I don't tell the youth parents that I actually really liked this movie.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I did put out a movie review on that, but we'll jump into that later on. But talk about it. Deadpool and Wolverine. What'd you think?
It was fantastic. It was just so good.
For anybody that saw, so there's just like with Star Wars and any big franchise,
Yeah.
there's people that are fans now, right? But they don't know the original stuff. Like, to me, like I loved the original Spider-Man. I loved watching Daredevil with Ben Affleck. It was garbage, but I watched it.
Agreed. Yeah.
You know, the
Certainly at
Fantastic
time, it was
Four.
awesome.
At the time, it was just cool that, hey, I don't have to read this in a comic book. It's on. I can go see it at the theater.
Yeah.
So the fact that all that stuff has just kind of been swept under the rug, Marvel pretends like none of it happened. We're going to redo it and make the cinematic universe.
Yep.
I love the fact that all that was part of this.
Deadpool Wolverine slaps it in the face.
They slapped it in the face. They brought these cameos back.
Flame
And,
on.
Yeah,
Flame on.
Great. Like, as soon as they showed Chris Evans, like, I was like, there's no way that's a Captain America variant. Like, and he was just, it was just raw, just Chris Evans, like, no holds barred. It was great. I
Kind of how I
loved it.
felt about when Blade walked out.
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
Holy crap! Here we go.
Electra.
Right?
Yeah.
But even like the ramifications of him being in it has now, like, they've officially said, we're not making another one.
Yeah.
Because he is Blade.
He's
Right.
Blade.
Like, you can't change that.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie kind of proved and showed that. Like, people were
I
like,
love that they let him say that too.
Yeah,
sure.
There's only ever going to be one.
Yes.
As that's cool. I maybe unpopular opinion, but we had the Blade movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're good.
They were great.
Yeah, we're good. They're very good.
Finally saw your next men guy. Finally saw Gambit on screen.
Yes.
But the monumental moment, Wolverine finally put on the yellow and the black and the blue.
Yes.
And when he pulled his
mask
cowl down,
bro.
I just nearly shed a tear of joy.
It was so good.
Pulls it down, flips his claws out, and let's go. Just
It's on.
and then the next 5 minutes is just watching him
Yes.
just barrel roll the world, and it was awesome.
wreck.
Like that, I would go again just for that, specifically in the big screen.
Yeah.
That little 5 minute segment
Yes.
was awesome.
Yes. And I put it in the way of, it's one of those movies that I had to cover my ears and peek through my hands because I had to go take a shower after the movie. I felt dirty. But it's Wolverine. Like
It's not a Deadpool movie.
It's not.
Yeah.
TJ put it best. He said it's Wolverine and the other guy.
Yeah.
Right? So this is all
That's why I'm
about
there.
Hugh Jackman.
And I'm all for it, but as somebody who went to the movie twice dressed as Deadpool,
Yes, he did.
Fair enough.
I look, Deadpool was in it too. Okay.
He was for sure.
He was
There was a lot of Deadpool.
He was
Yeah.
even.
Yeah, there was several.
A lot.
Had I known that was coming, I might have changed my
Because
costume.
there was only one Wolverine.
Yeah, there was only one Wolverine.
That's it.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Well,
not really.
yeah.
They had Wolverine-sized Wolverine, which was hilarious.
That was
Yeah.
funny.
That was very funny, like a 4'3".
But what was the Wolverine you got excited about?
Oh, now I'm blanking. I don't know.
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill.
Oh,
Yeah, the cavalry.
Yeah, like Yeah.
Henry
I
Cavill
died.
is what
died.
everyone wants.
Just we need
They
that.
will never
Marvel,
be.
Marvel, please. Although I
They
guarantee you,
Yeah.
They can't.
Jackman's going to be Wolverine again.
Exactly. He
Yeah.
has to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You made a
He's
billion
going
and
to
a
be
half dollars.
Wolverine
They can't
until
do it.
he's 90.
Yep.
Yeah.
They said it in the movie, so it's going to happen.
Logan's already there, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
true.
Valid.
Logan
Yeah.
is already old.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
No, super fun.
Oh, I forgot
Kind of
about that.
a weak bad guy.
Yeah.
Marvel still struggles with that.
Right.
Yeah.
they
Right.
do.
But we also saw those two fighting in a van.
We did.
Oh,
It
and
just-
it was
and-
so
and-
good.
It was just funny.
The
the
dynamic between
best
those
part of the
two
movie.
is what made that movie. My thing, I know I had this one on my list of movies that you can kind of just see once. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
the only reason I say that is because I've seen the movie 3 times and the humor doesn't carry as well.
No.
Yeah.
I think
And that's true of the other Deadpool movies.
Yeah,
too.
I think it just the humor doesn't do as well. But yeah, the fight scenes, the cameos,
Yeah.
All great.
yeah, I will not say any other negative thing about that movie. It was all great. It's
So
just
we'll put it this way.
humor.
This doesn't fly like it used to. If you can find the TBS version of Deadpool and Wolverine,
Yeah.
Yeah.
then rock on.
Yes.
It is not not even kind of a kid movie. Like even my 17-year-old has not seen that movie.
If they cut it down, it would be 20 minutes of
Maybe.
Of just fighting in a van and Wolverine
That's it.
killing a bunch of people.
yeah,
yeah.
And I'm okay with it. Like I would still watch that.
Yeah.
That would be great.
that'd
So
be the
anyway,
best parts.
That was like across the board. That's the one movie that all 4 of us, 5 of us. Joe hadn't talked about Jared. Jared's on our team. We're going to talk about him in a little bit.
Yes.
All 5 of us walked out going, okay, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We were all pretty
We
pumped.
were pumped up.
No,
It
it's
was
a
a good
shout.
movie.
That was a good. Yes.
That to me though, even some of the worst movies we've seen, like it was comical. Like I don't think we've had a lot of experiences where we've walked out like upset that we sat through a movie.
Right.
We always found a way to laugh about it. And
Right.
this movie, it was definitely like there was some excitement behind
Yes.
that, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah.
100%.
All right, rolling into August now. What we got in August? Anything that jumps out at you? You thought was
Alien
cool?
Romulus
God.
is the only one
August
that I-
1st. August 1st.
What'd you have in August 1st?
Trap.
Ugh. I think that was one that I was mad.
This was one of the ones on my bottom, but so we'll talk about it later. But
Yeah, I think that
Trap.
what you just said a minute ago, walking out of the movie mad, there was nothing comical about that movie to walk out of that. Yeah, we'll talk more about it later.
All right, hang on. That's good.
Good
Very
night.
cool. Romulus, though.
Yeah.
We did see that one together.
Alien Romulus, it had that nostalgia to it, right? So
Yep.
they didn't do a lot of this. I mean, they did some CGI, but there were moments in there where they went back to the original puppeteering and everything.
I
else, which
love those parts.
Right.
It felt like the original
It
movie.
did.
Yeah.
It did.
It really, really
And
did.
the girl that was in there did a really good job. I thought she was solid.
Mm-hmm.
The ending and the way it's it's Hollywood has this thing that they do now where they put together some solid moments within movies. Then they get to the end and they just throw things up in the air. They're like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah, they don't have
Let's
a land
make
plan.
this. And you're like,
Yeah.
it could have been so much better.
Yeah, so half human, half
Alien, but we've already seen that.
right.
It didn't look anything like it. Yeah.
And they sort of destroyed a little bit of the lore of how quick does it happen and that kind of thing. Interesting enough, yeah, you're right. It's cool stuff. Spent a lot of time in the face huggers.
Yes.
Whole bunch of time.
Yes. Lots.
Uncomfortably sometimes too.
Yes.
Yes.
So Forge came out in August. Really, really great movie. That was on Jared's top
Jared's
five.
top five,
We'll,
yep.
we'll talk
Yep.
about that in a minute.
Yep.
Excellent movie though. Can't recommend that one enough. And I don't know if any else saw Reagan came out in August. Did anyone go
I
see
wanted
it?
to see that. I
Yeah.
didn't make it.
I did. I actually don't tell anybody. I skipped. I didn't skip work. I left work. Sort of took a long lunch break to go watch Reagan, which I work like 70 hours a week, like a lot of y'all. So I felt okay about that. I went in with real low expectations,
Okay.
and it ended up being really not only dude slips my
Dennis
name,
Quaid?
Dennis Quaid. Thank you. Did a beautiful job playing Reagan.
Yeah.
But the way they tell his story is super neat. And apparently it's based on a book that I'd never read, obviously. But
Okay.
they tell it from the perspective of some Russian spies talking about Reagan, both in like a fearful, like, this dude ruined everything for us, and here's why.
really?
And so, like, that perspective was really, really cool. John Voight plays the lead Russian.
Yeah.
And how they've been spying on this dude from the start. And it's just fascinating.
I like John Voight. I wish John Voight was
John Voight's always, he would be another fun guy to hang out with. Yeah. So they capture he and Nancy's relationship really, really well.
Okay.
And then a little bit of that just I don't know, just well, they do the scene of Mr. Gorbachev tear down this wall.
Yeah.
Set that up beautifully. So they kind of that chutzpah that Reagan had.
Yeah.
Captured really well too. So that was cool. Go
cool.
catch that one. Okay. All right. September. I don't think anybody put Beetlejuice on their lead. We saw Beetlejuice. What'd you think?
Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta keep this list going, man. It didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
It was a fine movie,
Interesting.
Yeah.
but they could have left that alone, and I'd have been good with just one Beetlejuice.
They heavily played in nostalgia in this one.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Which I'm here for, right?
Yeah.
Love
But
Michael
it
Keaton.
was a bit overdone.
Michael Keaton is one of the most
Amazing actor.
Oh, just incredible.
Yeah.
And I think we walked out of that movie all happy that we went and
We
saw
were
it.
satisfied with it.
Yeah, but it wasn't like, bruh, that
Right.
was the best movie. Like,
No.
none of us thought
No,
that.
no.
Honestly, that's one of those. If I'd seen by myself, I probably would have disliked
Sure.
because it
Okay,
was
yeah.
with you.
There was some
Because
community-
actually, was that the one that you got yelled at by somebody?
No, that was Civil War.
Yeah, that was Civil War.
And I was going to bring that point up in Civil War, right?
Yeah,
Because
that
and
was Civil War.
So we at times when the movie is bad, we tend to play Mystery Science Theater 3000.
Absolutely.
Right? And we make comments, and most of the time
It was
we
the
get
first 2 minutes of the movie.
most of the time we get pretty good solid laughs from everybody in the movie because a lot of the ones we do that in are pretty ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I'm glad he said something about Civil War because it actually locked me back in where I think I was going because it starts off a little
Weird.
vanilla. Like it's
You don't really know what's happening.
right,
And it's
exactly
just kind of
they
like,
come into the middle of this war, right?
yeah.
So I'm glad he did that, but yeah, that's where you got roused. By
I did. And he I'm gonna just
Even
say
after the
this.
movie was over, he was like, "No, I'm not forgiving you." It was
Yeah, bro.
I'm normally the type of guy like if I know I'll push your buttons like all right let's just tap it again. No, he was serious, so I left that one alone.
truthfully that's probably the wrong movie to be pushing people's buttons anyway. Like,
true.
Well, again,
I don't know what kind of American he is.
we didn't know that.
Right,
It
I
was
agree.
2
That's what I'm
minutes
saying.
in.
Yeah,
Didn't know that.
that was pretty early. That was
Our
funny.
pregame conversation went a little bit over into that.
It did. Yeah.
So anyway, it's Beetlejuice. You didn't think it needed to be made.
So, and here's ultimately it comes down to how it was cast and the decisions that were made around that. Okay, so I have been a fan of Jenna Ortega and the movies that she's been in, some of the series. But if you saw the Wednesday series, which I also was a fan of, vastly different take on that character than what
Right.
would have been done by Christina Ricci. But if you watch that series and how she ends up interested in this boy who ends up to be the main villain, well, what happens in Beetlejuice? Oh, I like this boy. Oh, he's a ghost. He wants to take my soul. Okay, we've seen this before. Play a different role. That's all I'm asking. If you're going to pull these mainstream actresses and actors, give them different characters to play.
Yeah.
Because literally, she played the exact same role.
Yes.
And that was my issue.
yeah, it's good.
She's just kind of from the beginning, she's not very emotional. She's distant with her mom. And
Right.
she's just,
It's like Nick Cage in every role he ever plays.
well, now hold on. That's okay. we want to see Nick Cage
I do want to see
as Nick Cage
Yeah.
in any movie. Okay?
Sure.
Jen Ortega has not reached Nick Cage level.
No, nobody has, to be fair. It's good. Bobby, what were you going to say?
Wild Robot, one of our extended members who's potentially looking at membership status, the one and only Kyle Castelaw. It was his number one movie of the year for him, and so he doesn't see as many movies as we do. Maybe if he becomes a member, that'll change a little bit.
It's a solid movie.
Yeah, he
I
loved it.
liked
It was in my top five.
He loved how it goes through some very deep topics and subjects.
Yes.
He was like the way that it talks about death and all of the way it's described. He was a big fan of it. We were talking about it in practice tonight, and so he made sure that I mentioned that for him. So
Yeah, no, I thought it was a solid movie. I think the animation was different. We run into the the Pixar, Disney, DreamWorks animation a lot.
Yep.
This one was a little bit different in the way that it was made and it was drawn. And I thought for it being an animated is probably one of my 5 favorite not Disney movies. The animated movies that were there.
Cool.
Okay.
That's including
Yep.
How to Train Your Dragon and Shrek and all that kind of stuff. So
Okay. Thank you for
solid.
soundtrack.
Yeah.
There you go. I saw Am I Racist in September. I don't know if any of y'all saw that.
I remember you talking about this.
It's funny, but it really offers an interesting way to talk about some of our race conversations in our country. I think it does it in a comical way.
Right.
There's some. I love satire.
Yeah.
Absolutely love satire. And so Matt Walsh sets up some really satirical moments, and people walk right into that trap, so to speak.
Incredibly intelligent person.
Yes, he is. Yeah, and obliterates. Gosh, I've forgotten her name. But the lady who wrote White Fragility, like he single-handedly destroyed her career.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
she has disappeared.
Done.
Because he showed how foolish she really is.
Right.
So really fascinating movie. You get some laughs, but it'll make you think. That was pretty cool. Then the other big one, I think, Speak No Evil. Josh, was that on your list?
Yes,
We're going to talk
that-
about that more here in a little while.
Yeah, I'll talk about that a little more, but absolutely, I've always been a fan of James McAvoy, and the fear when you find an actor that you're like most of their movies is, well, are they going to just play themselves?
Right.
Is Mark Wahlberg going to be this character? Or is he just Mark Wahlberg in another movie?
Right.
He's playing himself, right? I think you could say that about several actors, Nicolas Cage being one of them, but
Yep.
it's okay when it's Nick Cage.
It's true.
But I think that in this there was absolutely some of that, but I'm always impressed how in character he can get.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I will say that my only issue with this movie was the ending.
There it is again.
But it all the way through it kept you guessing. It kept you interested, and to me that's really that's all I want from a movie.
Yeah.
Sure.
Don't let me get bored. Okay,
Right.
I'm absolutely one of those people that gets distracted by squirrels or whatever.
Yeah.
And that movie never left me like I couldn't look away.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about it.
He could be a scary dude.
He absolutely
He
is.
has
He's
the
intimidating.
widest range.
He's so
that
casual
dude
with
is
it.
Mr. Tumness. Like,
Right.
Professor Xavier.
He's Professor
Mr.
Xavier,
Yeah.
Mr. Tumness, Split, whatever his
Rocky
name was
Call,
in
yeah.
that.
Split's
And
amazing.
then
Yeah.
Yeah.
that dude may have
can-
one of the
He
widest
pulled
ranges.
some of the skill set that he used in Split
Yes,
is used to here.
Which is why I
He's
didn't
not
watch
quite
it.
Denzel Washington, but he's close
Yeah.
as far as his range.
Yeah.
I don't know because Denzel played like scary people.
Dude, Training Day?
Training Day's pretty intense.
Intense but scary. Like there's moments in Split of where
I would
was
not mess
scared.
with that dude in Training Day.
So,
Valid.
yeah, I
He
don't know.
tried to be the same guy in Gladiator, but
We'll get there.
Yeah,
he
we'll
didn't,
get
he didn't go as
Yeah.
hard.
Just
as
real
Training
fast.
Day.
Did anybody see Transformers? Just
Yeah, we
thumbs up,
did.
thumbs
I
down.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was fun
It
enough.
was good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It was fine.
Didn't change my life. It was fun enough.
Yeah.
All right, rolling into October.
I think one thing with that we did realize though is they set it up to where they're going to have 47 of those.
Yes, absolutely.
okay.
Yeah,
It
there will
is
be
going
sequel
to
after
be
sequel after
money
sequel.
Straight
grab.
Cybertron all
Yep.
the way through.
And that is totally okay
Sure. If they do it.
for like our young boys. Like
Yeah.
that's a great movie. It's going to be fine for the next 15, 25 years.
Right.
And they'll watch the 17 Transformers
Yeah.
in that style.
At what point between Transformers 1 and Transformers 47 are they going to tie in Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox?
Hopefully not ever.
That's the right answer. Okay. Moving on.
That's good. All right, October is an interesting month. Y'all see, there's several movies in October that are coming up on our list later on. So,
Yeah.
True.
did anybody catch anything there? I saw the Superman Christopher Reeve story. Fantastic
that.
documentary. That's worth. I think I can't remember if it's on Max right now or not. Just really,
It
really
is, yeah.
fascinating. I always loved Christopher Reeve.
Yes.
Truly, like honestly, dude was gone before I.
Yeah.
Actually, he lived longer than I realized, but even
Right.
still, like most of his movie career was when I was still a kid. So I saw
Yeah.
the original Superman movies. That was his defining moment. But ended up being a pretty fascinating dude. So go
Yeah,
check out
yeah.
that documentary. That was fun enough,
Yeah.
for sure. A little bit of an agenda, but nothing too bad there. It was good. And then Venom. We saw Venom together. Is Venom coming up later on? I don't remember.
It is.
Yeah, it's on a-
Okay.
Yeah.
Leave that alone. All
It's
right.
on a list.
November. We're almost there.
We got. Oh yeah, never mind. The other movie Saturday night. We'll talk about.
We're
later.
coming up that too.
What about Red One?
That was
Was that
November.
November?
That's November.
that
yeah,
was
we're in November
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Biggest question for me on this movie is, who the heck was it for?
I'm still asking that question.
It wasn't for the kids.
It wasn't.
Yeah, no, it was not. And
But-
especially, was it you? Was it me and you talking about it? Of where they were like, you know what we need in a Christmas movie? Let's just put women in bikinis on a beach in the middle of a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
How do we do that?
Yeah.
they
And not
found a
just
way
any
to do
bikini,
it.
like straight South America.
like-
Yeah.
They found a
Nothing
way.
there.
What's
Yeah.
the point?
Yeah.
It's Christmas.
Yep. No
Well,
doubt.
it's because it was cool to put snowmen on the
I'm
beach.
saying, and then
That's
they
what
followed
I'm
up
saying. They
with
found a
abominable
way.
snowmen
They found a way to incorporate it.
Yep.
It's just
Well,
dumb.
coming out of an ice cream truck. out of the ocean.
Correct.
Krampus was the best part of that movie. For
I
me.
agree.
For
The
Sure.
slap battle with Krampus.
I don't know.
The fact that not only just the humor in that, but the fact that they got The Rock
Yes.
to kind of whimper, like
Yep.
in a movie instead of be The Rock, right? Like that was hilarious
yeah,
to me.
that's true. That was true.
I do like Jack Santa, J.K. Simmons,
Dude,
Santa
the
Claus.
most buff
Yeah,
Santa
That was
that's ever
that
been.
was fun, and their take on how Santa and why he was jacked.
Yep.
Yes.
Like at least there was a plot point
He
as
was
opposed to
jacked
just, let's just have
While
Jack
being
Santa.
jacked.
Yeah.
That dude got
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ripped for that movie.
yeah,
For
that was pretty fun. I like J.K.
I've seen
Simmons.
JK. I love.
like
I've
Jason
seen
Good dude.
Admittedly, I've seen that movie more than once. Not in the theater, but I've seen it a couple times.
I've seen it 3 times.
All right, so it was Red One.
Okay, I don't feel
Tell you that I don't know. Did any of y'all see Heretic?
I
No.
did not get a chance
I
to see
so Bobby, because of your life, like so it's a movie that absolutely trashes the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Oh, okay.
Like they just destroy Mormon theology.
Oh, great. That's good.
yeah,
But
it's-
I don't like that how it says it's a 2024 American horror film, which means I'm not going to watch it.
Well, it's not the kind of horror film that would bother you. There's nothing supernatural going on. In fact, there's only 2 deaths in the entire movie. It is very, very dramatic. Hugh Grant, which I've never seen him play a bad guy before. That was kind of
Interesting.
But the first hour and 20 minutes literally is him and 2 teenage girls discussing theology. And so
Okay.
it's real conversation heavy, but it's interesting conversation,
yeah.
truly. So, and then it gets a little bit crazy, but I think you can handle it. And nothing else, we'll watch the first minute, buck 20 together.
Done.
And then we'll stop. I mean, I'll just tell you how it ends. How about that?
I like that
Heretic
idea.
was interesting, more so than I thought it would
Quick
be.
thought. You said you never saw Hugh Grant as a bad guy.
That I remember. Yeah, what do you got?
Okay. Did you see the Wonka movie?
Technically, yes. Yeah, he was the bad
He's
guy.
kind of a crooked little Oompa Loompa. I didn't like him. Just saying.
That's fair.
That's a bad dude.
All right,
Wasn't
rolling
very nice.
through.
Never thought Hugh Grant would be the worst part of a movie until I saw one.
That's pretty funny. Yeah. I don't know if any of y'all saw Bonhoeffer. That was also really good. Again,
That's the
it's
other
a
one I still wanna see.
Yeah, it's on my list.
Docudrama, really
Yeah.
well done, incredible historical figure. Need to know who that is. All right, December. What do we got in December that we're not going to trash here? In a
And
little
yes,
while?
people, we know there's other movies in November we're going to talk about later.
Yeah. Yep,
We
it's
know.
coming. It's coming.
Some of you are rioting already. We know.
Trust me.
We got
I
it.
think
well represented.
I think just based on the other movies in December and the fact that they're going to end up on our list, I don't think Mufasa is on there at all.
There you go.
And the best thing I can say,
It's in
Mufasa.
Jared.
It's in Jared's. It's Jared's top
Top.
5. So
That's
go ahead.
good.
Okay, so it's in Jared's top 5.
Yeah.
Okay, then
It's a
There you
good movie. I think
it's
the
better
problem
than the.
is the music.
The music is the problem.
That's the only
Yeah.
problem of that movie.
I love the Brotherhood story. I love I'm still trying to figure out the whole, Mufasa Scar. Are they brothers? Are they not?
Yeah.
They are adopted brothers,
Yeah,
Like-
but
kind of.
are they supposed to be? I guess that's my biggest thing.
Well,
I think
is
there
it?
was
Is
an
it?
opening in the original movies,
Yeah.
and they took that opening
Yes.
and made this fit, and it works. But the music was the problem.
My kid's favorite part of that whole movie was when they saw Kion at the end because they
Which-
watched Lion Guard.
Which Kion's fire.
That
So
was great.
It's good.
Wasn't it
It was a
Kiara?
great movie. Honestly, I
Kiara
liked it better than the
Oh, okay.
first Lion King live action.
Yes.
That's fair. Yeah,
I'll
It was better than the first line.
it was because they were telling some original stuff there.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. But it was just the music. The music just sucked.
It did. It was bad.
And it was sad because
The-
the singers were great.
Yes.
The singers were fantastic.
Whoever wrote them.
The writing of the music.
Well,
and the songs
it was what's his
sucked.
face.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah, which
Well,
is
and
sad that it wasn't
the
good.
one callback that they annoyingly kept bringing your attention to was every time he would grab Mufasa.
Yeah.
It was like a slow mo. Like they kicked up the
It
sound.
4 different times.
Yeah.
At least 3.
We were counting. It was 4 times, and every time it was like as loud. They cranked the bass up.
Yeah.
Slow motion.
Yeah, it was
Heavy breathing.
God, we know what happened.
We did it. We know.
Every child that's ever been traumatized by that scene.
Yeah.
Here, let's shove that down your throat.
By the way, the best part of the whole movie is at the very beginning when Simba and Timon are the ones who kill Scar.
Yes.
Brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant.
That was
Which-
good.
I mean, I still love
Yeah.
Seth Rogen and Billy
Yeah,
Eichner as
absolutely.
Timon and Pumbaa.
So,
They're so
the
funny.
2 movies I saw in December, I don't think any of y'all saw. Complete Unknown.
Right.
So the Bob
Dylan
Dylan story.
Yeah, we did see that.
I'll just put it really, really simple. The music is incredible, as you would imagine. I am officially a Timothy Chalamet fan.
He's so good.
He is just proving he can do a lot of stuff, certainly in the music realm. I didn't know squat about Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
I now know, and they focus really on like 6 or 7 years of his life in the 60s. Dude could write, dude could sing, dude was a horrible human being.
Yep.
Just they tell that really, really well.
Right
So
there, TJ.
yeah, I try. I try. And then Nosferatu, I think I was the only one that saw it. So that's,
Liam said it was great as a cinema guy. He was like, this thing's freaking dope.
it's
And
really, really well made. So when we get done here, which Bobby doesn't know this, we're going to go see it. We've got reservations to go see Nosferatu. And we're going to have, it's going to be excellent. You're going to love it.
I'm so excited for
Popcorn's waiting on you. We're going to get you a middle chair.
I'm not going.
We may or may not tie you down. Hold your eyelids open, okay?
Hey,
So
bring back past trauma. Okay.
So that was the essentially like our and we kept it positive for the most part. That was our year in review of our honorable mentions. Now we're going to give you all of our top 5s, and this is where things might get a little bit salty.
I think it's going to be fun.
I think it's going to be fun too. So remember, Brandon's, you're up first. Here we go. So Brandon's going to grab the mic again. He's going to walk us through. In fact, we're just going to let him present his top 5, unabated. You tell us what you think, and then we'll pounce on you.
Okay, so top 5. I had a lot of movies that I enjoyed, but as far as just my favorite period, I mean, Wicked, hands down, best movie from the get-go, from beginning to end. Cinematography, the way it was shot, the vocals are insane. The story that they were able to expand on. I'm a theater guy, right? I've seen 60 plus theater or musicals in the theater, and for them to be able to capture this in a movie and build on it, and where I actually had to sit down, right, like I was standing up, but I had to just sit there and just, like, catch my breath at the end of it, and that's the way the end of Act 1 made me feel in the theater. So Wicked, hands down, number 1 without a doubt. Gladiator 2. So not as good as the original, because the original is in my top 3. Period. Like it will never be dethroned. Wow. Russell Crowe, the whole cast, is one of those movies that everyone was cast perfectly in their role. But the main reason why Gladiator 2 is up there is because of Denzel. I think this is Denzel's one of his best acting jobs he's ever done. From top to bottom, I think he plays a great good guy, but also transitioning into the bad guy. Nobody can really do it like him. The one that we wanted to talk about so many times when we were walking through our honorable mentions is Ministry of Ungentlemanly of Warfare. This has Henry Cavill's lead, the guy who plays Reacher in the
Alan Rickson,
yeah, dude.
who dwarfs Henry Cavill,
Oh yeah,
which is insane.
crazy, right? But it's a almost like a World War One flick as far as World War Two. And they're like an assassin team. It's almost like the rejects of England that they band together to go in and attack this base. But if you haven't seen this is, you have to put this on the top of your list to see for 2024. Damsel, this is one of the ones that was not it wasn't released in the theaters. It's a Netflix film. Millie Bobby Brown. I've been a big fan of her since Stranger Things. I think she's a phenomenal actress. Great fantasy film. My daughter Avery and I have seen it multiple times together, and really solid film work, solid story, really good job. And then the best Christmas pageant ever. This was a surprise. If you want to go to probably the most expensive movie made this year, to probably the least expensive movie made this year, but still the story there was probably the best of the Christmas season, definitely in the last half of the year. Just a heartfelt movie. No one's too far gone for Jesus, and the story of the saving grace of Jesus coming as a baby, and what that effect has on people is pretty phenomenal. So definitely see that one too if you haven't seen that yet. So we open it up for comments, questions from the group, as we really didn't have each other's top 5 until today. So I'm going to get roasted from at least one guy on the first one. There might be one down the line, but comments, questions, what's chat?
Decide I want to pounce now or pounce later. So, I'll spoil a little bit. Wicked is not in my top 5. I think I'm the only one that doesn't have Wicked in my top
I
5.
think Jared doesn't have it.
Jared didn't have it. I'm not sure if Jared's seen it.
Yeah.
Jared hadn't seen it yet, so we'll see what happens.
Well,
So, girl can sing, not sing, sang. You know the difference there.
Both of them.
both.
I mean,
Both.
Ariana can too. I'm not sure I'd ever seen Forgive
Cynthia?
me.
Yeah.
Cynthia Erivo. I'm not sure I'd ever seen her in anything. At least that I've.
No, yeah.
Harriet.
Yeah.
She was Harriet Tubman in the movie Harriet.
Okay.
Correct.
So,
Cool.
yes.
Okay. There we go. I haven't seen her. I need to.
Yeah, it's really
So, unbelievable singing.
yeah.
Here's where I struggle. Number one, I've never seen the play, and I understand that the play is based on a book, and the book's horrendous, and they cleaned the book up, made a play. So I've never seen the play, so they're treating that as the source material.
Right.
Yep.
But I'm treating Wizard of Oz as source material.
Right.
And I generally can't stand it when they flip a whole thing and go, no, the bad guy's actually the good guy. That's where I struggle. And they're working so hard to make the Wicked Witch be the good gal, even though she can sing. And on the flip side, not only is she the good gal, everybody else is horrible.
Sure.
And I just, and I'm always going to struggle with making a part 1 like my top anything.
Sure.
Purely from the standpoint, I just don't, like, where are you going to take? I don't trust Hollywood.
Right.
Okay, sure, you did pretty good here. It was a clean movie.
Yeah.
Really, like, maybe one of the cleanest movies we saw all year long.
That's true. That's a good point.
But those two human beings who can't keep their mouths shut in real life
Yeah.
and keep talking about the fact, we wanted to do, and we want to say, and this is what we really think.
Yeah.
Part 2, I feel like it's just going to be just unbelievably terrible. We'll see what happens, but that's where I'm at. So you're not going to get me to say it was awesome. It was impressive. Girl can sing. That's the best thing I can say about it. That's all I got.
But here's the thing: even if that was a part 1, in that there was no part 2, if that was a standalone movie, it's still the number 1 movie that is not Deadpool this year.
Yeah.
It is amazing.
Well shot.
On so many levels.
Pretty. I would be interested to find out more about how they made it. I suspect that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, so there is
Wasn't a lot of CGI going on, right? Like,
There's CGI for sure, but they did a lot of practical stuff.
Right.
This group knows I'm a fan
Yeah.
of doing practicals well.
For sure.
Because you can fake literally anything now. I can right now with my phone take a 3D 360 image of this Showtime's thing and put it in 3D space. I can do that from my phone. So in theory, anytime you do actual practical things really, really well, it stands out and it shows. Fantastic example of that is Wicked.
Yeah.
But again, even if it didn't have a part 2, which I can't wait, because then that's how you actually get into the Wizard of Oz.
And I Wikipedia at the end is that part of me actually right out the gate. It said I didn't realize it was a part 1.
Right.
Before the movie, I don't think people knew that it was.
So they immediately say part 1, and I went crap. Like no, because I knew how long it
That
was.
was the problem. You went into it thinking that it was going to be a whole movie. It was
Maybe
part
so.
1, and that's what dampened
Yeah.
the whole
You
So
also
I-
didn't see the play.
That's true. It's
So-
a factor.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I realize there's things that tainted it, but even still, just that concept of, and it's not just this movie. When you make the original villain now the good person,
So, like,
and everybody else
Maleficent and everything else.
didn't like Maleficent, same principle, man. Like it's now we're getting the spiritual realm. What's the agenda? And there's lots and lots of movies getting into that, but that's where I struggle with this one.
Yeah.
So again, talent's there, off the chart talent.
Yeah.
Musically, even better than Timmy C.
Oh, yeah.
And but I don't know. I'm stuck. Talk to me in again a year. We'll see what happens. All right.
Fair enough.
There we go. Everything else, I'm cool with what you said. Rock on.
Anybody else?
Denzel and Gladiator, I wasn't as much of a fan as you are. Brooklyn Denzel in ancient Greece makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
Smoothest guy in Hollywood.
Why does that make sense?
It was just weird.
Sense.
He just brought the
It's part of the greatest soundtracks ever. It didn't belong in that era, but we still enjoyed it. It's the same thing. Denzel is an OG when it comes to acting, and he can act. I don't care if he went all Brooklyn in the way he talked. On the movie, it's still wicked.
Here's my issue with Gladiator 2. Here's my issue. At the end of the first movie, did anybody really care what happened to his son?
No,
Were we thinking that?
no,
No. So we don't need another movie.
exactly.
That's I don't think that's where it's going to land.
We're done.
That's good.
No point did I argue the fact that this needed to be made.
Yeah.
But the fact that it is made, it still was one of. And I think this goes to the whole testament of we're still in this era of movies because we just got off the strike last year.
Right.
That Mr. Us era of movies. It's just
Hold on. Sharks.
Sharks.
Yeah, sharks in the Coliseum
Sharks that live in salt water in a
in a tank. You're telling me that an aquarium of sharks in the
and it was
Lies.
all CG. It was fake. If we'd have had
It
some
was
realism,
horrible.
Sure.
Slap some real great whites in there, and I'd be happy.
yeah, I want to see them survive in freshwater.
Again, I asked
the question. Does it really matter?
It does.
It doesn't.
It does. You picked it as your number 2 movie.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. It's enjoyable. It's entertainment.
Nobody even thought for the last 20 years what happened to his son. His mom is still shacking up with Pedro Pascal.
Yep.
Like,
And still looking for somebody else.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so I can't hold that.
And I asked the question. This is entertainment. This is not historical. I'm not going to this to reference history.
Say the line. Say it. Are you not entertained? And the answer is,
I was entertained.
there you go. All right.
I was entertained.
There you go, sir. Good.
But honestly, as far as the damsel movie, I almost moved her up to number 2. But it is a solid movie.
It was. I'll give you that. I didn't see Best Christmas Pageant. My wife's been telling me we need to.
It's really good.
And the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare was very much entertaining.
Yeah.
Sweep
All right. What do you got? Bottom 5. What do you got?
Bottom 5. So again, I had to go back to all the movies this year that I've seen, and there's a lot of movies that I wanted to add to the bottom 5 that I haven't seen because others in the group has seen the movies
Yep.
that I didn't go see because of their reference. So I only could go off the ones that Bad Web. Enough said. The Fall Guy was fun, like we referenced earlier, right? So Emily Blunt is great. It just, it just fell flat, like just the whole thing. Kung Fu Panda 4. I mean, Jack Black's funny, but I've seen this movie before, multiple times, right? So it just, I don't know. I don't know. Red One. I think we all referenced it earlier. Yeah. I mean, it's The Rock, right? I love The Rock. He's one of my favorite dudes in acting. But even
I need to see more from him at this point.
yeah.
He's beat up everybody and everything.
Exactly.
Time for something new.
We need to change. We need to shift. The polar bear was get out of it. What I want to say about this movie, Craven the Hunter, I can't. Everybody will be able to see this in this video. It was just really bad. It was so bad from top to bottom. CGI was horrible. Things were out of place. Things were there that weren't supposed to be there. Things weren't there that were supposed to be there. The only redeemable aspect about this movie is some of the fight scenes were pretty legit. They were fun.
And that picture.
Russell Crowe's
Which happens at the last 2 seconds of that movie is that picture.
exactly. So altogether, I didn't really rank my bottom five. I would just put him in there, but that would probably be the number one worst movie for me this year. So I mean, Madam Web, yeah. So like just that after that Phase 4 drop off on the Marvel just continues. So anything to say about this?
No,
That's a good bottom five.
that's a good bottom five.
The eyes have it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
I feel like a lot of our bottom fives, a lot of ours, will not have a lot of disagreements with. Because in reality, I think we all had like bottom tens, and we just have a random assortment of all of them.
I agree with that.
So
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Well done, sir.
great.
All right. I think next we got to talk about AMC. AMC, you're not actually our sponsor.
Oh man.
But we feel like we should be. You should like
I feel
sponsor
like
us.
we sponsor AMC.
We sponsor you, and let me say, we love AMC. Like you,
Stockholder of AMC.
you are our theater.
Yes.
I told the guys earlier. I think
have
I've been to every AMC theater
It's pretty popular.
within 50 miles of Arlington,
That's awesome.
and it's because of this A-list thing, which we'll talk about later on too. But AMC, we represent you well. Big shout out to Miss Andy, who works the front desk at AMC 18 in the Parks Mall.
Yeah.
Man, we love you, lady. You
So
are
great.
always sweet to us. You represent the company well. Give that girl a raise.
Yes.
But we do. AMC, we love you. Thanks for sponsoring, not sponsoring, but we hope you sponsor us. And let's talk. We're willing to do some
open.
stuff for you. But thanks for the stuff you do for us already. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. Who's up next, Bobby?
I think it's me.
It's you. Bobby's up. So Bobby is not only our movie fan, Bobby's our movie maker. So walk us through, Bob. What do you got?
So I have my top five, and I have shown this to other people, and they agree that I have the most correct top five. So just to let that be known from the jump.
Do you want a Reddit group?
No, this is from other outside members of our crew and just accessory members.
So you're saying you need to be affirmed by other people.
Of course I do.
Okay.
That's literally what top fives are for. So Wicked, we've already talked about it. Beautiful cinematography,
Amazing.
props, real things. Even the CGI was fantastically done. What Brandon didn't talk about in the music was the fact of what they did has never been done in any kind of movie ever, is the fact that they sang it all live while they were filming it with that accuracy. I had no clue. Microphones they used, I have no way how they audio isolated it. It blew my brain. It was crazy, Joe. Fantastic. Best movie of the year besides Deadpool. Dune 2. There are some snoozing parts. I will be honest. It is so low.
Yep.
So low in some moments. But again, cinematography, world renowned level. And I'm loving the story that's being developed. I love this genre of sci-fi stuff. It gives you the Star Wars. It gives you, those kind of fantasy world vibes. I'm here for it. I love it. And TC is so. And I'm a Zendaya fan. She had one horrible movie this year that none of us, I think, watched because we knew it was going to be bad based off of the trailer. But I'm normally a big fan of her, so there you go. The best action movie of the year is The Ministry of Ungenitally Warfare. Without a doubt, it was fantastic. Just watching them beat up on dudes. And I love that it was a true story-ish. Like, it's like, I think 90-something% true. They ad-libbed some stuff. But there's apparently a crew of Navy SEAL type people that Winston Churchill used in World War II. It's kind of a baller story. Bad Boys. The fact that this isn't in Brandon's top five hurt my heart. And I think he forgot that it was in 2024 because us leaving this movie, we were all happy about it. One, we did it at U Camp, which was the biggest part of it. And with that, we'll cut back later when I'm sitting over there and doing the camera switching so Brandon can talk about his Bad Boys experience. Because that was a thing. But there was a moment that Brady almost jumped out of the seat and over the railing in the movie. It was amazing. It was a fantastic experience, and we got to watch it with some extra outside people that we normally don't. Dan Reeves, the best bassist in town.
Come on.
He enjoyed it with us, and that was a great time. Arthur the King. I watched it on an airplane somewhere. I can't remember where. But it was a great movie. Well done, well written. Mark Wahlberg played Mark Wahlberg, which is a great role for him. Any kind of fit, athletic person. He played that role fantastically. If you are wondering, the dog does not die. It gets close, but it doesn't die. So you're safe, and you can watch that movie. It on the dog, doesthisdogdie.com website or whatever. The dog doesn't die, I promise. It's a fantastic movie. It's a great story, and it's a true story. I'm a fan of true stories because if you're able to communicate through story and storytelling, it's the most effective form and way to do it. So, hearing that story, I would much rather watch that movie than read the book about it. Thank you. Let me run over here and switch to you guys so y'all can roast me about it.
Well, Dune 2 is the only one that that's the only one I would dispute, honestly, because of the sleepy moments in it. And honestly, like, I mean, I'm all about the Dune storyline, but that movie just didn't do it for me.
So I'm with you on that, right? So that's the only reason why Dune 2 didn't crack mine. Is it lagged a little too much in certain areas. I, however, am going to put Dune 3 into my top 5 for
Just
I think it's going to be an incredible movie. From what I know that they're going to do and roll out. So yeah, I agree with
Well, it just that's the thing about it is it was like a placeholder for
right.
Hey, here's something. Here's a little teaser.
Yeah.
Dune 3 will be here, you know, and it just okay.
It's so good. So I will say I'm not sure I've ever seen Zendaya in anything and be like that girl.
Really?
I just don't.
Okay.
Not even Greatest Showman.
She's fine. She's fine in Greatest Showman, but she didn't make Greatest Showman. That's not. So she was fine, but more often than not, she just really annoys me. And she seems to be the same human in every movie she made. She's trying to be the female Nick Cage,
Right.
At age 24 or whatever she is.
She's always in a relationship that she shouldn't want.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's slow. Yeah, it's slow, but it's I don't know. I'm not going to yell at you about that.
In the theaters, I remember, like, I came to the comment and I was like, guys, like, that was great. No,
It's a theater movie for sure. In fact, I would say it's an IMAX movie.
Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
Yes. For sure.
Cool. Well done.
Yeah, I think Bad Boys Ride or Die. Definitely.
We need the story.
Yeah.
Brandon's got to give us the story.
Right here. Right to this
Go.
one.
So we're at youth camp. We leave. It's late at night. After we had the ultimate dance party. By the way, thank you for putting all that together.
And I had the best playlist going. I was the best DJ.
He did have a really good playlist.
Evidence, I have people.
Shameless plug, obviously.
Not shameless, just true.
Definitely not shameless.
Just true.
Yeah. So we'd gone. TJ actually stayed back at camp, so he didn't go with us to this one.
That's part of my role. Is that I took off my Don hat, kept my youth pastor hat on, and let my boys do their thing.
He did what he needed to do.
Yeah.
So we roll up, and it's late, right? So this is the last movie showing for the night, and we get up to and the lady is going around locking the bottom of the doors. So I mean, like we're there right at the last minute to get into the theater, and I mean
We still hadn't started because you already had your tickets. It's not like you were walking up my ticket.
not buying anything, right? To get in, so we were just walking in.
Yeah.
And our AMC here, they even if they didn't know us, they're open and they stay rolling for a while.
If it was true.
Well, she apparently was having a bad day because we got in the door. She was frustrated she had to open the door to begin with. But then I had the audacity to ask for a drink because it had been 45 minutes for us to drive from the camp to the theater. And she told me that they were closed. And mind you, all she really had to do was grab a cup from the back because it was those self-serve soft drinks. And there was still one on. So really, there was nothing there other than just turning the computer on and giving me a cup. And so she told me no, and she told me no multiple times, emphatically, in the last one. So I don't want to say that the boys had to pull me away to go to the theater, but it was pretty dang close because I could not, as a customer service person, at no point in my entire life would I tell a customer who's willing to pay money, and I even told her I would pay double for a drink.
He said it in such a desperate tone, like,
Dude, I just need something to drink, man. Can you please? Good lord. So she still said no. So that's the one mark on an AMC that isn't a negative light for me. So the AMC in, where'd we go? Rockwall?
I don't.
maybe in Plano, probably.
It might have been Plano.
Yeah.
Watch out for that one.
The anti-Andy.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Miss Andy would have gone back there and go,
Oh, Miss Odie slapped that girl.
yeah, she would have. Yeah, she would have. So that was a interesting night. So I had to watch Bad Boys Ride or Die with literally no moisture in my body.
And he still liked it.
And he still laughed his tail off.
Hilarious. It was so to call back, right? So the third Bad Boys movie was a real dud for me. And I'm a huge Will Smith, Martin Lawrence conglomerate fan. But this one just called back to the Martin Lawrence of the first and second movie. And I almost jumped over the rail. I was laughing so hard and just in awe of some of the things that they did within the movie.
Oh, for sure.
It was,
They've always had cool camera work.
Yeah. That's a really good point, TJ. I forgot about that camera scene.
Yeah.
So there's one moment that they have a 360 attachment where
See the gun.
where Will Smith is spinning the gun and the camera at the same time. So he spins it around and it's like from a first person like 007 old school video game style. And then he flips it around and it's showing his face. Coolest thing ever.
Yeah.
Honestly, a simple system. Like
Yeah.
I'm mad that I hadn't thought about it with like our Agent J series or something.
Yeah.
We can bring it in, but like it was really cool. And how they built it, the behind the scenes of it was really awesome. Will Smith put it, I think, on his own personal Instagram.
He did.
Which, I mean, yeah, you flex that because that's just a really cool effect.
Yeah.
Yes. Good reference.
All right. I think you got to give us our next plug, Bobby.
Okay. All right. So, my bottom 5. Okay, people. Y'all do not even know the level of disgust that I have for this movie. Argyle. So, honestly, starting the movie, based off the trailer, loved it. I thought this was going to be great. It's going to be a whole thing. Boy, was I wrong. So, in the first 5 minutes, you learn that Henry Cavill, see him in the middle of this? You think that he's the main character. Incorrect on all fronts. He is in this movie for 7.5 minutes of the 2 hours of ridiculousness that I endured. Okay? I also lost all respect for Bryce Dallas Howard in this movie because of this thing right here, people. This woman ice skates with a knife slapped to the bottom of her boot and ice skates on oil for 30 minutes, it feels like. It may have only been 8, but it's still ridiculous. There's a moment where she slides on her knees. And then she gets up and she has this exact same amount of oil on her dress as this image does after she slides on her knees through oil. I don't know the faces I was making. I'm pretty sure I was vocally mad. Worst moment in cinematic history was this moment. I may not watch the next 3 movies she does in punishment for this. Horrible. Absolutely ridiculous. Let me get back to the list at hand here.
On a scale of Madam Web to Argyle. That's
We can see about him left because y'all saw it and then said how bad it was.
no, that's gonna be our moving scale from now on. That's Argyle. Madam Web.
That movie was so bad. Is Argyle Kingsman people?
Yes.
That's also why I hate it. Kingsman always, there's some ridiculous thing in that movie that's like that one scene ruined the entire movie for me. Happened in the first one, happened in the second one, it happened in Argyle. That director needs to hang it up. It's just dumb. Trap, horrible movie. It's a dude who's a serial killer in a crowd. Whoop-de freaking do. I don't even know where else to go. Garfield, all the kids are gonna hate me, but it sucked. It was not a good movie. On Josh's end, yeah, sure, there's maybe some heartfelt moments, but it was just not good. The original Garfield stuff is a bajillion times better than this Garfield. The storyline, it was just, It wasn't even based off of a book. It's sad. Anyway, Bike Riders. I don't think this was released in theaters. I'm not sure. It's an Amazon Prime thing, I think. It sucked. It was horrible. Because it's this whole story about like a bike riding crew and all this. And from what I remember of just being angry the whole time watching the movie, I was watching this with Becca and Casey. They ended the movie in the worst way possible. What's his face? The guy who played Elvis. I can't remember his name. He just disappears. Like at the end of the movie. Just disappears. No reason. Just he leaves the movie for like the last 10 minutes. And he's like in theory like a half protagonist character. Makes no stinking sense. It's sad because I love Tom Hardy. He wasn't Tom Hardy in this movie. He was a poor imitation of Tom Hardy. Craven's horrible. Brandon Nixon that. CGI was bad. The worst part of it was about 45 minutes into the movie, we realized there were audio sync-ups that were wrong. Yep. So they would sit here and say, "Hello, my name is Craven." And you would see his mouth go, "I don't like Craven." Like it did not line up. It didn't sync. It was really, really weird and became distracting. After we realized it, that's all then we could see the rest of the movie. And it almost exclusively happened with the girl in the movie. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was just bad. All around bad. And this whole attitude was 5 seconds. And it was the last 5 seconds of the movie. I rest my case.
I rest my case.
And I'm going to come sit down so I can switch the camera angles. Anything?
Nothing. Well done.
Yeah. I mean, Craven, they made him out to be like this comic book version of Tarzan where the same thing happened in Tarzan where he has a fight with an animal or with like George of the Jungle or something, whereas like he fights with an animal to impress the woman, like whatever.
And he was boar, bro.
Huh?
Tarzan was the boar, the leopard.
Yeah, that's true. But Craven wasn't a good guy, and they tried to make him look like a good guy.
There it is again.
All because they couldn't put Spider-Man in there. So they made him scared of spiders. Stupid. But I mean, my only argument is Garfield.
Can I do? I will say, if you don't know how many times I've walked across the street, it should just to look in the tree to see if my dad's there.
I can't.
All because of that movie. You should get it. Not a bottom 5. I'm sorry.
Sure. I will say, Craven the Hunter, it did spawn the guy who plays Rhino and the way they did Rhino in that movie. It was comic book accurate, really good, very unique in the way that they did it. People were scared, but it was, and I liked the guy, and it was comic book accurate.
Yeah,
Right.
the actor did great.
Really good job.
The CGI, honestly, top notch for doing that because you can't do that practical.
Right.
It was great work.
Right. I agree. Yep.
But yeah.
Solid. Good.
You got an extra plug.
I do. Do you guys like this content? I know that I just rambled for 10 minutes, but essentially we're trying to figure out if this is something that, all you guys ask us what we think about movies. This is something that is, a frequent question, especially of TJ. Like, he gets asked by a lot of youth parents, his movie reviews, his perspectives, all of those different things. We discuss and talk these movies out almost every single movie we go see. Mm-hmm. We'll compare it to other movies. We'll, if it's a sequel, if it's a thing that's similar, we'll discuss all of that. And so we're trying to think about, do we create some kind of micro content that we do, whether it's on Thursday nights afterwards, or we upload later, or all those different things. But, we watch them late on Thursday nights. Maybe you're done around midnight, 1 a.m. So obviously, our audience isn't going to be up there watching it then. But essentially, let us know if this is something that you guys want to see from us. One, this every year thing, this is a really easy thing for us to do in theory, and it's really fun for us to go back and kind of recap the year. Yeah. But let us know if this is something that you want to see a little bit more regularly. So, do you like this content?
All right, here we go. This is actually the definitive top 5.
Yes.
I don't know who you were talking to, but they were the wrong people, okay? All right, number 1. This is an easy one. You're not surprised. My number 1 movie of the year was Accidental Texas. About surprise. If you know anything about TJ, there are 2 things he loves almost as much as he loves his mama. Texas being the first one of it. So anytime there's a Texas movie, it's going to be a good time. This one is especially special, though, because it's a West Texas movie. Really, really cool. It's actually set in the Abilene area, which is not far from where I grew up. Talking about land and oil, there's an old man that loves to bash on people from California and Democrats. That's super funny, right? Great cast. Thomas Hayden Church is always fun. Actually, the basic premise is a young man from California, went to Harvard to study acting, is in a movie, bombs out in his first day, is driving back home to California, gets stuck in West Texas, and has to act as a landman, which the new Landman show that's out right now is interesting. But he's playing that part, so he gets to use his acting skills, including having to act like a Texan. But along the way, he's taught what a real Texan's all about. So super cool, really fun, funny movie. Number 2, his name was actually pretty close. Number 2, best Christmas tragic movie ever. I can't tell you how much I love this movie, how much I cried during this movie. It was especially fun for me because we took almost 100 of our students, filled the theater one day. That made it doubly special.
All come out crying.
All that theaters looked so much fun. But the line, and I've always loved the best Christmas pageant ever, just that story is remarkable. Seeing on the big screen was a hit. But when the line is, man, Jesus came for the herdings too. Oh, yes. Like, I just want to stand up. Yes, praise God. And then the scenes where the herdman kids are hearing Jesus' nativity story for the first time, and they're yelling, what are you talking about? This is crazy. Like, I came out of the womb a believer, right? Dad's a pastor. I was born on a Thursday. I was in church on that Sunday. Like, I know these stories backward and forward. I'm still enthralled with them, but to see it to the eyes of someone that's literally never heard it was so, so sweet. Phenomenal movie. Arthur the King, I almost made my number 1 because it's a dog movie. Yeah. It's a lot of really cool athletic stuff. Truly, truly fun. Marky Mark's always a good time. The dog doesn't die. That's a huge hit too. But it's just a great story, man. There's drama. There's at the action from the standpoint, like you're seeing them do these incredible athletic feats. And dadgum, you just fall in love with the dog, man. Really, really great. Ungentleman Warfare. How can you not love a movie where Nazis are getting killed? Guys, honestly, that were written off by everybody else. Like they're going, no, like you can serve too. Like I love that mentality. Honestly, the only thing I didn't love about this movie is the fact that it wasn't a bunch of Americans doing it. This should have been the stuff we were doing. Right. Forget the British. True. Yes, guys are a bunch of losers. We broke off for them for a reason. We should have been the one kicking down doors and kicking tail. That right, he said, good job, boys. Great movie. My last one, I just love a good comedy, and Saturday Night was just stinking funny good. So I immediately, when this movie ended, I went, okay, like, did all that stuff really happen in the first night? No, they took everything that happened in the first season, turned one, which actually made it funnier. Yeah. But it's several things that happened in the movie that you laugh about did happen that night. But how Saturday Night Live came apart. No, Saturday Night Live is not as fun as it used to be. but it's still pretty dang funny, and the history is fascinating. So there's history, there's humor, there's comedy. Just really making out. So that was my top 5. Could interchange maybe a handful of them, but this is where we landed. Bring it, boys. What you got?
Well, The Accidental Texan is definitely the most TJ answer.
Ever. As we said during the commercial break for a moment, if the word Texan is in the movie, I think it's a requirement per your Texas contract to have it in your top 5.
I did enjoy the movie. I honestly, it didn't come up when I was thinking of top 5s because I just wouldn't put it in a top 5.
Fairly certain me and only 4 other people in the country are the ones who saw it. Like, it was not a hit.
Well, I did see it. I just, Arthur the King, I think I agree with everything you said about that movie. The one thing that you didn't mention is, the way that this dog, obviously it was athleticism, it was this dog, great story, but the way that dog made that group of men that group of people work together, I mean, that race was destined to fail because those guys were never going to get along. They had failed once before. They didn't trust each other. There was still some resentment there. Not there, at least it was in the movie. I don't know about real life. But for sure, that dog not only saved some lives, but he brought everybody together to where they could all kind of get off of their own pride, right? So that to me is what made that movie. And then I don't think we've talked about that yet.
That's a good point. Just the point. Everything about it, you walk out feeling good about it.
Yeah.
It was a cool movie.
Yeah, I love it all. Saturday night, genuinely, I love the way they shot it. It almost like one continual just path, just follow him around, all the things that was going on. And just funny, the guy who played Chevy Chase in it was almost spot on. That's like I was watching him again. And, Dan Aykroyd, a few of the other ones that were in there. Genuinely, just I laughed many, many times in that movie. Well done.
All right, there's my top 5. Bottom 5, gonna see some stuff you saw. So I had a part A and part B of my worst movies of the year. Number 1's gonna be Mary, and I love Bobby, by the way. This is great work on cutting these two together. Man, Mary, which is actually a Netflix movie, it was the worst movie to see because it took maybe the most important story in history and absolutely obliterated it. They took a Catholic director and slapped him together with Joel Osteen, who was one of the worst pastors in America, stuck their theology together and cranked out some nonsense. So this is one I actually wrote a review on.
That's enough reason to just not watch the movie and give me a review, but I understand why you touched it.
First place, yeah. Like, I had no intention of watching that. One of my buddies, who's not my buddy anymore, said, like, hey, you need to watch this, and we need you to review this. Like, okay, fine, I'll do it. Oh my gosh, like, that was the worst 2 hours of my year. And I obliterated the guy, like, we're not friends anymore. Like, I don't know you, but no, like, I don't know. Soon
Was your friend Joel Osteen?
No.
Hey, I wrote this movie. You should go watch it.
Yeah.
No, you're not friends.
Floyd roasting him. Part B was Joker. Couldn't stand the musical aspect of it. Couldn't stand the fact that, like, I didn't like first Joker, but the guy who plays, and Joker is supposed to be horrendous, but again, same deal. Like, they try to make this guy who's horrible a hero.
Yeah.
I've forgotten the name of the director. Todd Phillips, right? It really does. You get the impression Todd Phillips made this first movie. They made $1 bazillion. And they said out the gate, we're not making another one. This is it. And the studio came back and said, no, we need to make you a second one. And it really is like he made this movie a spite. Everything I could do to make it terrible, I'm going to do that. And so it is. It's just terrible from top to bottom. Madam Web is one of the dumbest movies ever done. Just dumb. The girls in it are dumb. I can really like Band of the Moon. I really don't know why they made it. Interesting fact. Did you know that Venom 1 by itself made more money than all of the other Spider-Verse that didn't have spider movies? It made more than all those movies combined.
$1 for
The first time made $1 billion. All the rest of them combined only made like 500 something total. Oh my goodness, crazy. So Argyle, same deal. Worst bait and switch of this summer. Like, we walked into this one excited. The cool trailer. This is going to be great. and it was
The first 5 minutes were awesome.
Fantastic. Over 5
John Cena.
This is what we signed up for. And it just tanked. Tank. And it's got a stupid cast, right? So, Conclave was a movie I was excited to see. I'm not a Catholic, but papal history is interesting. The process of electing a new pope is fascinating. There's been some cool movies made about that. So I walked in going, this could be cool. Incredibly clean. Like, it's rated PG. But the way that they treat the Catholic Church, like, broke my heart for them. Like, they just trash Catholics over and over and over again. There are a number of cardinals in there who were intentionally trying to subvert the church, which was really, really sad. And the way that it ended is they elected a transgender person to be the next pope. And so I genuinely, like, I came to bed that night. I try not to wake up back. When we get home late from our movie, I woke her up and I was angry. Like, what is wrong? I said, that movie made me so angry. Terrible movie. And A Quiet Place 3, it just made me sad because Krasinski didn't direct it and it was obvious. Just not as good as the first two. The first two are incredible movies.
Yeah.
And this was just not like everything. Again, another stupid cat.
All right.
Ruined the movie.
Right.
They didn't set up the story like I really hoped they would. There was no explanation on, again, where these guys came from and what they were doing. They didn't even explain, like, here's why you have to be quiet. So just from the sky. Yeah. It's just, I don't know, really could have been cool, but wasn't. So that's my dog 5.
Yeah, so I never saw Mary, right? So I can't, and I don't think I ever will now.
I took that bullet for you, boy.
Yes, appreciate that. Thanks for a Joker. I've not seen either one of them. I don't know. It just nothing made me just want to go see it. I mean, Manuel, we already know what I feel about that one. The Quiet Place 2 is interesting, right? Because I mean, it definitely was. It was. I think the reason why it's in the bottom 5 for you is it's so far away from the first two. Yeah. It's not necessarily this horror movie. I mean, there was some good parts in it, but it's so night and day from the first two. I mean, Emily Blunt is great there, right? And the girl who plays Napita, she's. I mean, the two main actors in this are really good. Sure. But it just falls flat again. I feel like that's the quote of 2024. It just fell flat.
I think TJ said it perfectly. It was not John Krasinski, and it showed.
Right.
And that is why it was like if I had a bottom 6, it was it.
6.
It was in my list of bad because I essentially just wrote down all the good movies, all the bad movies, and then I ranked them. It was in my list of bad. It just wasn't. It had enough. It was enough okay to not make it, but man, that movie sucked.
Yeah, one thing could have been liked is it shows the desperation someone will go to get a good slice of pizza.
Right.
I can hear.
That was true. That was a good say. Yeah, that's not so bad.
It did need to be made.
Also, that is
We did need it. And I say that because you went into it expecting explanations for what was going on in the first movie, and they didn't give it to you.
Right.
And so it ended up being just the same thing. Oh, they showed up. People kind of figured out that they don't like noise, or that they're attracted by noise. And it was, okay, well, we know that people can't just survive in that environment in the city, right? And so how do we show that they got to these remote areas? Oh, put them on a boat and they'll leave.
Right.
And the movies, like, that was the problem with it. And I don't know that I went into that movie expecting explanations, but it was still a letdown because it was like, we're doing this again. Yeah, like,
Maybe that was the problem because I did like that was we start the year and we're gonna talk about our movies we're looking forward to next year.
yeah.
Like that was one like I can't wait to see that. No, that would be cool. When the trailer drops, we're doing this again. Okay, and it just didn't happen. So
as the only person that decently liked Joker, it's not that bad. But I am genuinely on an island by myself. I've mentioned it to other people, but like I enjoyed both of them.
but you said it's you part of the reason because again the way it was shot, like some those camera effects.
Yeah,
I can agree with that.
The cinematography was great. I'm a fan of Lady Gaga since she did her jazz album. I mean,
She can sing.
girl can sing.
Or jazz.
It hits. listen to it, Josh. I don't know. But it's just it's a weird drama, and it is weird. I will acknowledge that it's weird, and my head's a little weird, so I got some weirdness in there. But I don't know. I didn't hate it as much as everybody else did. And I mean, there's weirdos on the internet that like it, but then all of the people that I know hated it.
Here's my issue with it, though. I was entertained by the first Joker.
Uh-huh.
I think it's a different take on the Joker.
Yes, it is.
Whether you like it or not, it's a different take. And I think that, to me, the second one, it like didn't really. To me, I felt like it didn't know where it was going, because they took the Joker and okay, instead of just making him like this, crazy criminal, and he's addicted to, trying to hurt Batman, right? Which has always been what he was.
Yeah.
They tried to make it more like modern and realism, with mental health. Okay. And
Yep.
I'm all for that, because, we've all got our own struggles, but man, like they really just like pushed it too far. And it was obvious that that's the agenda that they wanted. Like, they wanted to make sure you knew about this guy's mental troubles, so much so that in the second movie, you didn't know what was real. And it really wasn't about the Joker. It was about Arthur Fleck. And the Joker was, I mean, the whole thing was they kept trying to say that, oh, the Joker's not real. Like, that's just your like, well, no, but in the movie, that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Because it's just this guy and how he was being controlled in this facility, and he gets out and now he's free. And it's like, yeah, like we don't need to go. I get you shed light on mental health in the beginning, and but we don't need to keep going there. Like, you're making it too much.
I'll tell you one of the sad parts of it. Lady Gaga's character, whenever Arthur Fleck says, I'm not actually the Joker, that's when she, I don't like you anymore.
Yeah.
And that becomes part of the premise of the movie. No, we like you when you're crazy. We like you when you're doing
And
you're not okay, then you're just a nobody again.
Right. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Is that at that point it's like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's the elevation where we like you. We like the bad guy being the good guy. Everybody's a parable, and I don't know. It just, that's never going to be. I don't want that to ever be okay with me. Sure. Put it that way. Fair enough. That's my pastoral hat.
You're right.
Yeah. So there we go. All right, there you go, boys. What we got next, Bobby? Why do we love the A-list, boys?
Yeah.
Talk to me.
There's so many good things about it, right? So you pay a monthly fee, which it's never gone up since you and I have been a part of this. 8 years, and it's never increased.
Yep.
Well, I don't know. Y'all said that, and I was looking at my. It's not important, but it's like $21. And I thought it was 19. Maybe it's taxes. I don't know.
It's taxes. The way it's $21.65.
Yeah.
It was $19.99. Anyways, but you get 3 movies a week that you get to go. It's not limited, right? It's not just the small theaters. Like, you can go see Dolby, you can see IMAX.
Which those tickets alone are 18.
Exactly.
One movie is 18.
Exactly.
And so it's like, whoa.
I mean, you can see 3 movies. You get upgrades on your popcorn and concessions. All those of us who buy concessions. We get to buy the whole groups. If you're a part of our entourage, we can go and select the movie for everyone. So we're not having to coordinate. Hey, go get this seat on this thing. Like, we'll boom, 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 and you got them all at one time. Yep. And we're good to go. That's why it's important to apply for the group. And not saying you're going to make it. But
It's around here.
Very strict.
Yeah.
But AMC, hands down, is,
And you get points too.
yeah, points and rewards for the points.
Which stacks up. So I love this too. There's no fee. So when I go with my family,
Yep.
I get to buy their tickets. There's no movie fees, and I get to stack up those points. Or in my case, when I take the youth group to go see a movie, when I bought 100 tickets to go see Press Chris, I'm still living off points, boys. It's a 100% deal, right? I have to save my students money. Hooked myself up a little bit there too. There you go. Oh, it's the best deal.
Best.
Almost, well, at least for a guy like me, you're losing money on me. Sorry, MC. I'm sure you're making money off other people.
Make money off me.
Yeah, there you go. It is that great deal. So at that point, we'll say, if you want to be part of the CineMafia, throw in your application. If more have failed than have succeeded, but you never know. Josh got in.
That's it.
He is.
Been in a full year now.
Yeah, that is true. And he's killing it.
And I was watching movies on the couch before this. Still up, all hours of the night, and now I get to watch it with these guys, and it's a lot less depressing than sitting on my couch watching Netflix till 2 a.m. So,
All right, you're up. Give us your top five. Let's go. Bottom five. We're gonna ring this puppy around.
all right. So, I think I misunderstood the assignment because these are not in order of 1 to 5. As I've had to explain myself, Wicked is not my favorite movie of the year, but I will say, just based on the way it was done, and as someone who saw the play, my only frustration with it is that I have to watch it and remember that it is not Wizard of Oz canon. It's just not. Okay. But as a standalone story, I think they did a great job executing everything that I remember and was excited about in the play. I mean, they killed it. I don't have anything else to say. Bad Boys. I mean, to me, this was just nostalgia. Yes, the camera work was phenomenal. But, if you saw Will Smith in Aladdin, that's not what he should be doing, okay? This is the movies he should be making, and this just proved it. So, Speak Though Evil. Man, James McAvoy. If you guys want to get him to show up at, like, my next birthday, I'm all for it. I would just nerd out to every movie this guy's been in, all the way from, like, Wanted and even some of his stuff that wasn't well known before. To this. I mean, this was great. It's honestly a little bit creepy how he can go from this just casual, like, good father figure that's taking his family out on these trips, and you find out what he's really up to. It's a spectacular movie. Definitely one of the creepier films that I saw this year, and I'm all for it. It really helps with my trust issues, right? Because now I want to travel and go meet strangers. Wild Robot. A lot of the movies that we see throughout the year, some of them are definitely not movies I would see with my kids, and that's okay. I'm an adult. I don't walk out of these films, thinking that I can go and act like this in real life. Sometimes it's good that I see movies for that reason, so I can be put in check. But Wild Robot is one that I loved watching. I also took my kids to see it, and I saw it a second time. And I think someone else said this. It doesn't really hold back on, things like death and life. And, in Disney movies, they talk about the circle of life, and it's, fun. This put it out there on Jump Street. Like, there are some really hard things to kind of see. And yes, it was an animated film, but still, like, hey, do I really want to take my kids to see a movie where things are dying and they're being threatened and their life is? Yeah, I kind of do, because this was a great movie to tell that story. And, at the end, the way that everybody comes together in this, it was just a good time. I could go on and on. It also kind of highlighted this, I guess, commercialism of how, this major company had a purpose for this robot, right? And once this robot realized that it could think for itself, it really, that's what helped it find its family. So I don't want to get emotional, but it was pretty good. And Saturday night, Brandon touched on it a little bit. My favorite thing, I mean, I have no recollection of what happened the first night of Saturday night, right? But I will say the fact that not only that it just kind of flew like it was just one take, but everything that happened was, 90% of the movie was backstage. And I thought that was great. Just the fact that I felt like I was backstage, right? So many times they show these things and they go back and it's like, I feel like I'm in the audience. I felt like I was part of the cast in this movie. And, to really experience that, that's why you go to the theater, right? Yeah. And this movie, more than any, kind of helped me really appreciate like being in a theater and watching a movie versus watching it at home on my couch. Because that really, like, and I've seen this movie at home. It doesn't slap the same. It doesn't slap as hard as it does it. That needs to be in a surround sound environment in a theater. So that's my top 5. It's pretty hard to narrow those down, but what do you guys think?
I love the juxtaposition between Speak No Evil and Wild Robot. So that's when we saw Speak No Evil, we kept looking at each other going, like, this is not, well, James McAvoy's terrible too, but the father of the other family was the worst dad ever. Like, we're just like, I want to beat the crap out of this guy.
He was a coward.
Absolutely. A couple of times, like, dude, what is wrong with you, man? So Wild Robot, this get like a terrible dad situation where you learn from, but then Wild Robot, like this wonderful, this is what it's supposed to be. Right. And you saw those really within like a month of each other.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a cool juxtaposition. Well done.
It's funny you brought that up because this is absolutely how my brain works.
Yeah.
The two sides.
No, you sometimes you need to see like, okay, this is, if I'm an idiot, this is where I can land. And this is where things can go really, really well.
Yep.
Right. So, yeah, I love it. Well done. This is good. I have no issues with the list, except for Wicked. But that's already been stated.
You saw this coming. Oh, good.
Yeah, no issues except for I won't see Speak No Evil because it's probably on that line of scary. But
Again, different kind of scary.
I know. But,
it's.
I mean, it's nightmare. It's just like
You won't go, like if someone invites you out to their house after you meet them at dinner somewhere.
Yeah.
You won't go with them. But it wasn't like haunted scary.
No.
Yeah.
Nothing supernatural.
Yeah.
It's just it's freaky. Well, McAvoy's freaky because of his
Just be
intensity.
careful who you trust. That's all.
Yeah, don't be, especially in other countries, don't be just going, yeah, we'll come to your house. That'd be great. Sure, my kid can stay with you. Get on a bike with somebody I just met 5 minutes ago. Yeah, you're a moron. So,
Last had tendency.
Miss Halle, oh my gosh, too bad. So,
All right. Shocker, right, Madam Web? You know what, though? I would say that when hang on, she made all of our lists.
everybody except for mine because I never saw it.
Definitively worth making you weird. This is just comic book inaccuracy. Yes. Like, come on, guys. Like, stop trying to make a movie where you've got this, hero figure in a Spider-Man universe, but Spider-Man's not there. Like, just hang that hat up, which thankfully Sony has said that they're done. Could have come to that conclusion a lot sooner. So that's but yeah, I'm sure there's people that would make that same comment about me. Trap. I mean, let's be honest. We all went and saw this movie because Josh Hartnett, right? Like,
Facts.
oh, he's in a new movie.
no. And I like Shyamalan there.
Yeah. And Night Shyamalan? Yeah, except, oh, wait, his daughter's in it too, and that's going to be the... Come on.
Yeah.
It just was a joke. Like, it had potential. I think the storyline could have been... I mean, it could have been done better, but they didn't execute that at all. So,
Zero.
Moana 2. Here's my deal, okay? I'm normally the type of guy that wants to give sequels a chance. We didn't need this. I mean, come on, the movie's over and she's a demigod all of a sudden. Like, cool. Like, we didn't need that. You were a cute little girl. You had, made a lot of money on toys. Good for you, right? Clearly, if you go to the store, there's a Moana figure, and then there's like one with a little bit darker tan, and that's a Moana 2 figure. Seriously, Disney? Like, that's stupid. The songs weren't as good. I don't know. They could have ended it where it was, and I'd have been fine with that. My kids weren't even that entertained by it.
Wow.
Yeah. And I did dress up for this movie as well.
That boy.
As Mallet.
That boy.
Venom: The Last Dance. I mean, look, we could have stopped at the first Venom and I'd have been fine. It was a story that could have ended and nobody would have questioned it. Nobody would have desired a second or third film. But I think that in Sony's defense, that was their golden ticket and it worked. And the second one probably did okay with movies. But this was just, I mean, you could almost feel that somebody didn't really want to make this film. Whether it was Tom Hardy or the writers, it was forced. Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire. I'm all about a Ghostbusters movie. I even saw the one with the females. That
It's horrible. I saw the Ghostbusters film before this one, but you know what? I don't even remember what it's called. So it was on Afterlife. Oh, yeah, Afterlife. Okay, they could have stopped after that. It's true. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, though, the main, villain, the main ghost, the main monster. I mean, I feel like they pulled that from like a
Dungeons and Dragons thing.
yeah, like it just I don't know, like wasn't there a horror movie a few years ago? It was like the straw man or something, the tall man, or I don't know. That's what it felt like to me. It didn't fit any other ghost that has ever been in the Ghostbusters films. And there's this weird dynamic where the daughter meets this girl ghost. Oh, we're just friends. Let's play chess. And then by the end of the movie, it's just like, wait, like you don't love it. It's just weird. It's weird. They never said anything to that effect, but it just felt like it was so implied, and it just didn't fit.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of my issue. I don't quite understand or agree with this idea that every story has to have a sexual aspect or even a relationship.
Right.
Nobody in that Ghostbusters movie needs to even date.
Right.
We don't even need to share a meal. It's about ghosts and busting them. And busting makes me feel good. We don't need to do anything. Like, literally, we don't need to share a Hot Pocket. It doesn't need to be part of the movie. Stop. So that's my bottom 5.
Ghostbusters. Let's go, bro.
Not even up.
Hot Pocket, man.
I'm sorry.
No, I don't want you to apologize. It's beautiful.
This was the list that I very quickly came up with, and I had to check myself when I was done putting this list together, because I really did get a little annoyed of like, why? Like, because these are the real reasons I don't get why they're pushing these things. Why they're forcing you to see these stories that could have ended where they were.
Yeah.
And we've been fine.
So Venom, Anson, my oldest, went with us to go see it because he loved Venom. I had to shush him a couple of times in the movie because he was excited. But also, as we went further into it, he kept going, that's not how it's supposed to work. That's not what happens. Like, dude, you got to, like, I was thinking about the dude that yelled at you. I was like, you're going to get yelled at, but you have to chill out. But he was mad because he didn't tell the story right. That's a good list, Josh. I didn't see Moana 2, so I can't.
Yeah.
I haven't either, but unfortunately I have a feeling that's going to be in my house a lot over the next few years.
Probably.
But
I'll put it to you this way. My kids have seen Wicked, okay? We took them to the theater. When it was released on streaming, because we were at my mom's house for the holidays, we did go ahead and buy it.
Okay.
And they've seen it 4 times since they are released, okay? They've never once asked about Moana 2. They don't know when it's going to be online. They don't care. They're not asking about it. They've lost interest.
well,
That's what you think.
that's wild.
It's good movie. I think the only thing with, the Venom The Last Dance, I think the only thing with that is that you got to see multiple symbiotes actually show up.
Yeah.
And that
That was
the coolest
cool.
part.
That was a very cool,
Coolest part.
because I didn't even know. I mean, Anton was telling us before the movie, like, oh yeah, this is, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, that's dope. I weirdly didn't know that. I was in the comic book read like that, but
Yeah.
that was a cool part
Yeah.
that I wish they just introduced into the Venom story earlier. So
Pretty cool. Well, the villain, the creator of the creator of the symbiotes. And again, I don't recall this from memory. I went back and read some of this, and I was like, oh, I do remember that. He was a bad dude, and they made him not all that in the movie. It was just like, oh, it's like the pitch meeting, right? Like, well, oh, it's super easy, barely an inconvenience, right? Like, yeah, like you shouldn't have been that easy to beat.
Very cool. All right, guys. So that was 2024. What are you excited about 2025?
Oh,
Give me 2 or 3 that you pumped about.
I mean, we have to mention Wicked 2.
We do.
Part 2.
Yeah.
That's on there. Because I did a little bit of scroll searching. The Accountant 2 is coming out.
Saw that.
And honestly, The Accountant 1 hit
It
Like,
was so good, and no one knows about it.
Yeah, one of my favorite like movies in that kind of like Mission Impossible, Jack Reacher, Bourne Identity style stuff.
Perfect role for Ben Affleck to play.
But yeah,
I did feel like that.
Both actor.
facts.
It had its own originality though.
Yeah, no, it was unique, but it was that. I don't know what that genre would necessarily be. Right, a hired good guy killer thing, whatever. So I'm excited for that. Then there was something else.
Lots of Marvel stuff, man.
There's a lot of Marvel.
Starting to keep back up.
I'm anxious to see how Marvel uses what they hopefully have learned. So,
Maybe.
and this will be the year when we start to see that.
It definitely won't be in Captain America, but
No.
yeah.
I think hopefully you'll start to see it in Fantastic Four. Yeah, the first step.
That's the one that I'm curious.
Is that even in 2025?
Yes.
Oh yes, it is.
There are
It's
3
in-
Marvel movies
so-
this year. Yep.
There is another Jurassic World coming, which again, I think that fits your theme, Josh. Of we don't need another.
We don't even know. We're done. We're done.
Well, if Bryce Dallas Howard is in this one,
I'm not watching it. I'm not watching it. Mark my words, I will not watch
Jurassic is really
World
hurt
if
for me.
she's in it.
Avatar: Fire and Ash comes out this year.
Yes, which has great potential. Yeah.
I felt the way with the last one. I liked it because when you can build a whole world
Yes.
like James Cameron did, I'm gonna go give it. Now it wasn't, the Way of Water wasn't as good as the first Avatar.
But it was great.
It
Like
was
there,
really good.
there were some things that changed history with what they've done. They created water simulations. Like water simulations did not exist in CGI in the way that they did. The reason the movie took 20-something years is so we could get the water
Right.
Like it took that long for a limited money to make water look right, and they did. It looks perfect.
I think a few of the ones I'm looking forward to is the Passion of the Christ Resurrection is coming out this year,
Okay.
which I'm stoked about, and Ballerina,
Oh, I'm excited for.
John Wick's story.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I'm excited.
And then How to Train Your Dragon live action.
I'm so ready.
It's gonna be so good.
I just hope that it's not a trailer tease.
It looks
Like, I just hope it's not a trailer tease. They also did the best CGI animated dragon. That looks like an animated dragon.
it's because of Argyle, right? That's the only reason you think of that bait and switch thing.
Yeah.
I just hope it's one of those things of they can ruin a great. It's a fantastic animated movie series.
Truly. Yep.
They can single-handedly ruin it by doing this.
Gerard Butler is stoic.
I agree.
Let's go. They pulled him.
I agree. I'm just saying. I don't want it to hurt. I don't want to say.
It's a valid concern.
Josh, what do you got?
I was trying to see some of the movies I have on my list. I was trying to make sure they weren't 2026.
No.
But most recently they just announced Superman. And I'm all for James Gunn's take on Superman. I think he's done a good job with Guardians, with Suicide Squad, with Peacemaker. Based on the trailer I saw for Superman, while I know tons of people are roasting the costume choice, I'm here for it.
Dude, it's a callback to the Reeves, man.
I love it, man.
The original.
And then also, I'm a big Conjuring fan. I know Bobby won't be there with us. The Conjuring is coming out.
New one coming out?
Yep. This is called Last Rites. And then for the kids, I wasn't too sure about the Bad Guys movie when it first came out, but they've watched it so many times. Like now, I like it. So they're coming out with a Bad Guys too.
Yeah. It was fun. Kids are pumped.
So I am pumped about that, and that's really probably that's the big ones. I did see the trailer for that Novocaine movie. I don't know. I think that'll be one of those like, yeah, it was funny, but probably stupid.
Sure. Yeah.
I know now you see me.
TV3, which I like those.
First two were funny.
Good.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
or I'm sorry, theater good.
Theater good.
I think watching it at the house will be great.
That would be a great one for Apple to take on.
Yes.
Pump some of that behind. Yeah.
Honestly, that's a great idea.
But those are
Take that idea.
the first one in particular, super cool.
Yeah, it was.
All right, my three, dude. I'm pumped. Mission Impossible. I'm gonna wrap that up.
Yep.
Final Reckoning.
It better be wrapped up.
Both for me and my wife, the final Fast and Furious movie comes out in 2025.
Okay.
That'll be a big deal. That's something that's my wife, my musical loving, black and white, uber just gentle wife adores the Fast and Furious movies. It's illogical, but I love it. It's kind of sexy.
It's awesome.
And so yeah, we'll be there opening night, boys. I won't be going with y'all. I'm taking a wreck at it.
That's not
right.
We can sit
But
back.
you can just like as
They would sit.
They sit in the back.
I sit in the
We're
back.
it's gonna be great. Yeah, that'll be fun. And then the last one, Happy Gilmore 2.
It's true.
Happy Gilmore 2.
True.
Let's go.
Wait a long time for that.
But actually, I'm both as kind of like Superman. I'm super excited, but also really like, dude, don't ruin it.
ruin it.
Like
Don't-
that was so good. Don't screw it up. So there we go.
I don't think they can with him.
Like I said, he's the one running
He
it.
would
Yeah,
let it be ruined.
yeah. Sandler is Hollywood's unspoken champion. Actually, frequently the highest paid dude, and it's wild.
Crazy.
His
Sandler.
Netflix deal was genius.
Yep, no doubt.
He showed that.
Anyway, well, there you go, folks. That is our year in review. Took us quite a long time, but I had a good time. Hope you had fun.
Oh, that's great.
Great time.
So, Bobby, like, if somebody wants to contact us, where do they do that at?
They can gladly email us at theonlycinemafia@gmail.com.
No doubt.
Please submit your entry if you want to join. If you have questions, if you want dissertations on these movies, we'll have AI write them. We'll figure it out. But essentially, we want to make this a more outwardly community involved thing. We believe that there's a lot of people that for some reason care about our opinions on this stuff. And we gladly will take the bullet and go spend our Thursday nights hanging out with other fellow dads. Just join the good old cinema. And so with that, that's how you reach us. The only CineMafia@gmail.com.
So please do. You can certainly leave comments on wherever we plaster this thing. Thanks for hanging out with us. God bless you guys. Gigamags.
Yeah.
2025 is going to be pretty awesome.
Okay.
See you later.